synapses in the internet underground. Everyone knows who I am. The world is my chessboard and war is the tool of the game. Don't hate me, I'm just a messenger. Say what you want about me, but I speak the truth. The truth, the truth. Fuck you. Fuck yeah.
Hey, what the hell, engineer? What the hell was that? Take the title off. What the hell was that? All right, anyway, what's going on, folks? My apologies. I don't know what the hell happened there. You are listening to another episode of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And, of course, I am your host, the man they call Ghost, and I want to thank you very much for tuning in with me. This is episode number 745. Episode number 745 for all the folks that are keeping track of the True Capitalist Radio broadcast. And before we get into anything else, I'd like to ask everybody to please spread this show across the internets and throughout the world. And let everybody you know, let them all know that the True Capitalist Radio broadcast is in effect and in the house. And we are live, once again, episode 745. It is March 31st, 2025. And I want to say cheers to everybody out there who is listening. Of course, if you have not done so, please add to your bookmarks and add to your favorites my official website, which is what we'll be following from mostly on the show here. Put the PC shot on. All you got to do is go to ghost.report. Type that in your browser right now. Ghost.report. Add that to your bookmarks and your favorites. It will give you the world in one web page. So cheers to everybody out there who visits ghost.report. And, of course, if you haven't done so, go ahead and follow me on X or Twitter, okay? And the name is The Ghost Report. All one word, no underscores. The Ghost Report on X or Twitter. And Belligerent Brian, hey, Ghost, are you good? I'm fine, all right? We got the big one noob who said, Buenos tardes, Grandpa, good to see you. You still alive, however, I do not appreciate your meme magic giving me cancer of the ball. What the hell does that mean? Wait, whoa, I didn't do that. And my condolences, and, stay strong and stuff if you're for real and not trolling, all right? Anyway, folks, it is True Capitalist Radio. It is Monday, once again, episode 745. Liberation Day looms, folks, okay? Tomorrow is April Fool's Day. Liberation Day is on April 2nd. And let me tell you, nobody knows how to react to this market. That's why I tried to express to everybody the point of emphasis in 2022, March to be exact, that everybody should save United States dollars. And I'm telling you, every one of you folks that made a good portion of your portfolio cash are about to be rewarded here shortly. Okay? Now, what I mean by that is it's going to be an entry point for everybody at some point, because I predict that this year is probably going to be the worst year we have seen in stocks in a long time. There is a lot of over-speculation in this market that still needs to be chopped in half, if you want my opinion. And nobody knows how to react to it. Remember, even on Bloomberg, even on all the business news, they're saying we have never seen this amount of fiat currency printed. And when the ball drops, or when reality sets in this euphoric market, it remains to be seen. It remains to be seen. But as I've stated in many True Capitalist radio shows, the Trump administration is going to accelerate that. And I'm going to talk about it right now. Let's go ahead and take a look at the stock market. If you take a look at that chart, a very unusual chart. All right, we began the morning on the negative side, down about 1.5% on the Dow. And all of a sudden, miraculously, whatever reason, nothing changed. All right. But it started going up on the plus side. I caution anybody to try to buy on the low in this market at this point in time. All right, unless you're going to set it and forget it, small cap growth stocks, which aren't very popular right now in this very overspeculated market of the Magnificent Seven, this would be the only entrance point right now in this market right now when it comes to equities. And what's up to Red Eyes Black Dragon with a Rumble Rant? It's the engineer's birthday, by the way. No, it isn't. And Belligerent Brian, what do you recommend once the crash hits proper? Well, as I stated on the last broadcast, all right, investing is about to change completely. Everybody believes, because of post-COVID gains, that the stock market is this never-ending supply of over-speculation. The only reason that it's over-speculated is because of all the fiat currency that is printed. I think it's about up at some point here, especially with the acceleration of the economy going downward, because I said in many different shows, I think that Trump is purposely trying to crash the economy to take the emphasis of the Federal Reserve away from price regulation, which is one of their mandates, to the other mandate, which is taking care of unemployment. And I think that Doge and all the jobs that they're trying to cut, you combine that with all the corporations that are going under, all the layoffs that are happening in the private sector, we're definitely headed towards an unemployment situation. So what happens is that the Fed is going to take its eye off of prices, all right, and react more towards the unemployment, which, what is their tool to do so? Bringing down interest rates. All right, that's exactly what Trump is trying to force the Fed to do, is by crashing the economy in this so-called transition period in order for the Fed to lower rates. I do believe this is what's going to happen. And then once rates are lowered, those small cap growth stocks that I am suggesting that everybody entertain, if you want an entry point into this market, that's when they start to use credit in order to build their trajectory of whatever they're trying to do as a growth company. So that's why, in my opinion, nobody should be entertaining anything right now except growth small cap stocks that have a trajectory for legitimate growth, even amidst the constrictions of tariffs and all that shit. So you got to figure that out. That's why I'm telling everybody right now, stay away from the goddamn stock market. But anyway, we still got people investing. We got the Dow up 1%, even though it was down a percent change earlier in the morning, closing out the Dow at 42,001.76 points for the Dow Jones Industrial. We've got the S&P 500 up modestly as well. It is up 0.55%, closing out the S&P at 5,611.85 points for the S&P 500. And we've got the NASDAQ in the negative modestly. It was actually close to 2% in the negative in the morning. NASDAQ is down 0.14%. And, of course, the NASDAQ is closing out at 17,299.29 points. You're starting to see that NASDAQ gradually coming down. Just saying. All right, we got gold over here. It is above 3,100, folks, and it's because of all the uncertainty. All right, gold and silver should be telling everybody what the true state of the economy is. Because commodities traders, they don't speculate. All right, they move instantaneously with the market. And that's why everyone, even if you don't trade commodities, you should pay attention to commodities, all right? So let's take a look at the metals, shall we? The metals! Let's take a look at the goddamn metals. We've got gold once again. It is up modestly today, 0.23%, but the price of gold is $3,157.67 per troy ounce of gold. And we've got oil. It has gone up modestly, but down today. It is down 0.18%. Oil, WTI sweet crude, $71.35 per barrel of WTI sweet crude. Now, let's take a look at commodities here, because this tells the tale of this very turbulent 3-month of the Trump administration. Now, as you can see, we started off the year negative as far as prices coming down in energy. Those prices are miraculously starting to come back up. Take a look at the weekly increase on all energy. And it's because of the uncertainty. I mean, even though Trump is saying drill, baby, drill, lest we forget, we do not have the refineries necessary in order for us to refine oil into gas for the gas prices to be affected. As a matter of fact, there's been so much regulation around refineries, I don't think we've built a new one in like 15 or 20 years. And to even build a new one, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take like 5 to 10 years to even build one. So this is why, even though you have the drill baby drill policy by Trump, we're not going to see it reflected too much in gas prices unless OPEC, which it's a possibility that OPEC may come down, or I should say ramp up its production in order to bring down prices, because it seems to me, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about politics, even though it pertains to business. It seems that Trump is planning on visiting Saudi Arabia as his first trip internationally. Now, this suggests that the Saudi Arabians, especially the kingdom that is currently in power, is somewhat ingratiated to Trump. They like Trump. All right? I mean, and the fact that Trump is going there as his first international visit as his second term as president is telling. So, in my opinion, I think Trump is going over there to do deals, because that's what he likes to do, and I think he's going to try to convince the Saudi Arabians, which are basically OPEC, to overproduce in oil in order to bring down the price of gas considerably. Now, whether or not Trump's going to be successful at it, I have no idea, but the reason Trump needs this is because why? Liberation Day. Liberation Day is, what is it going to be? What is Liberation Day, to be exact? Liberation Day constitutes that the cheap good era of the United States consumption is over. All right, take a look at the Wall Street Journal today. All right, the era of cheap stuff was already ending. Now it comes to the tariff threat. That's right, folks, okay, because Trump seems to be at this point gung-ho about reciprocal tariffs. That means that all goods that we consume from China, Vietnam, all these other places that are manufacturing bases of cheap goods, their goods are about to go dramatically upward. And I find it funny. I find it ironic because the Trump administration is trying to suggest that this tariff is actually going to be a tax cut for the American people. Now, how are they selling this? Well, you got Pete Navarro, the guy that actually did prison time for Trump. He came out. He's one of the big financial advisors, economic advisors to Trump. He came out today and said, hey, tariffs are tax cuts, which if you believe that, you're an absolute idiot. And you see, this is what the GOP used to criticize the DNC about doublespeak, about knowing you're telling an absolute lie, presenting it as a truth because you know that the American public isn't as aware of all these complicated issues. All right, so Navarro out here is coming out and saying, oh, we're getting a tax cut with these tariffs, which is not the case. And let me explain why. Now, let me explain why Navarro is trying to present this as a tax cut, because what Trump is doing and how he was able to have so many people galvanized to vote for him in this past election, aside from the border, these promises of tax cuts, or at least no taxes on tips, no taxes on overtime. I mean, this is where they're suggesting the tax cuts are at, that the IRS is not going to be as invasive or as demanding for certain taxes of the American public. And I'm talking about American people, not corporations. So they're going to take away these taxes that would have normally been charged to the consumer, and what you're going to do is technically have more cash in your pocket, but who gives a shit if you've got cash in your pocket if everything is worth 100% more, or 30% more, or 200% more, depending on whatever the hell you're buying. You see, folks, what the tariff really is an actual tax increase on the consumer without actually directing IRS to take taxes out of the consumer. All right? I mean, look, they're writing all over the place about it. Take a look at this. Trump is plotting the biggest tax rise in global history. The burden for paying the bulk of the president's liberation tariffs fall on consumers, potentially at some $600 billion a year. So this idea that the American public is getting a tax cut is a half-truth, because they're eliminating IRS taxes that were traditionally taxed upon the American public and are now putting it towards the external revenue service is what Trump likes to tout in order to collect tariffs from imported goods. Now, look, folks, what you don't understand, when a tariff is applied, and whoever pays that tariff, whether it's the importers, whether it's the company itself, I mean, they're not going to just take that 25% tariff or 100% tariff or 200% tariff and just, cough it up to, business. I mean, they're going to tax that on you. All right? That's going to be tagged on to the price of goods. All right? So it isn't a direct tax from the IRS, but it is a tax either way. So this idea that tariffs are going to somehow solve the problem is absolutely insane. But I get where Trump's logic is. Okay, let me explain what Trump's logic is. Now, lest we forget that Trump is a product of the 80s. And in the 80s, America was the top producer of world goods in the world. Okay, we were the top producer of goods, and we were our biggest consumer of our own goods. Okay, and on top of us being the top consumer of our own goods, everybody in the world wanted American crap. Everybody wanted Levi jeans, and everybody wanted whatever we produced at the time. And you see Trump, which I think is not a good idea, but this is what people voted him for. He wants to try to make a transition back to that 80s economy in which the United States produced everything the world wanted, and the American people consumed more American goods than the international community, which in essence, in theory, which happened in the 80s, although I would like to remind everybody the 80s didn't happen because of tariffs, but that, I think, is the reason why Trump is making this very, very wicked transition that I just explained to you here. So this is why I'm telling everybody, even though you got Pete Navarro claiming this is a tax cut, it is not. That tariff is going to be towards you. It's going to be charged on you. That's why the Wall Street Journal is saying the era of cheap stuff is over. So if you happen to want a couch or anything, man, if you want anything that's made in China, a $200 cheap couch that lasts for about a year or two, all right, is going to go up to like $500, $600, or $700. All right, cheap crap is over, and I hope that you saved your money. But guess what? You're not. I know many of you didn't, and you want to know why? And I hate to, kind of be back and forth. I was going over the markets here, but, I mean, this is very important, all right? But what's really, really telling about this...
They're eating the cats.
Oh, cheers to Mark here, all right? And I'll get to you in just a second, Mark. Cheers to you. And happy Monday. I hope you don't have a bad case of the Mondays. Anyway, as I was stating, what this really represents is that, oh man, I lost my train of thought here. I'm sorry. What this represents, folks, is everything's going to have to be made here in America. And if everything's made here in America, take a look at how much people wanted, all right, during the time in which we had a bustling economy. Many of these folks wanted $20 an hour to simply punch keys on a damn cash register, throw merchandise in a bag, and say, thank you, come again. All right? I mean, that's where we're at right now. So how are we going to produce American goods and keep them at a price level that Americans will consume them, and at the same time, so does the international community? It doesn't really compute. And that's why I'm telling you, folks, Trump, a part of his policy is to facilitate a crash in order to raise unemployment, in order to bring down the cost of employment. All right? I mean, that's the way it is. Why do you think they want to cut, 2 million jobs from Doge? 2 million jobs lost. And most of those are decent earners. Same with all the folks that are being lost in the private sector.
They're eating the cats.
All right, I mean, it's fucking ridiculous. And on top of which, folks, I'm just explaining all the factors that are happening with the economy. Did you hear what Trump is doing to folks that owe college debt? Take a look at this, folks. All right. Austin borrower sues the education department after monthly student loan payments increased by over 300%. Well, of course they are. You want to know why? Because Trump needs to pay for all this crap. Trump needs to pay for all this crap. So, as I always told each and every one of you college kids that owe college debt, I said that no matter who tells you, Democrat, Republican, they're never going to bail you people out. They are never going to give you any kind of relief because this is the only goddamn, at least right now, I guess before the tariffs, the only revenue generating source of any significance that the government has. And you can thank Obama for that. All right, you can thank Obama for that. But once again, you college people, you all are in some serious trouble. Because remember that Trump is trying to dismantle the Department of Education. And even though the Department of Education is going to be dismantled, he has moved student loans into the Small Business Administration. So as a result, this is why your payments are going to increase. Now, even though I am somewhat sympathetic for some of you folks out there, I'm kind of not. And the reason why, folks, is because many of you had ample opportunity to pay off the principal of your student debt. I mean, there were 2 different stimulus checks by Trump and Biden that almost equated over 10 grand, all right, or a little under 10 grand, and you could have put that on your principal. All the fucking PPP loans that people were fraudulently fucking getting for themselves, you could have put that on your goddamn student loan. You could have done a lot of shit. You know that there was a moratorium on rents and mortgages and shit for a while. What the fuck did you do with that shit? So I'm telling you all right now, I mean, these are going to be factors on why America is not going to be doing good for a little while. All right? America's not going to be doing good for a little while. So going back to what caused all this discussion, which is Trump visiting Saudi Arabia, that's why he's going. He's going to try to convince OPEC to increase production to bring down prices of gas to like $1 and change, if not $2, because that's the only relief that he could give to the American people. Because if prices are going up on goods, yet the price of oil goes down and the price of gas goes down, he's thinking, this is Trump's thinking, that it'll somewhat balance itself out. I don't think so, but that's his thinking. So that's why I went through all this soliloquy about Trump and his reasoning to go into Saudi Arabia and why he is going to be groveling for cheap oil. Anyway, once again, let's go ahead and take a look at oil on this week. You see, it's all rising. That's why it's a priority for Trump's first international visit to go to Saudi Arabia. And let's see the culmination of that. Once again, Brent crude, which is the crude oil consumed by Europe, it is also up $1.95. Current price is $74.71 per barrel of Brent crude oil. And if you take a look at the weekly increase for natural gas, 4.39%. Gasoline is up 3.78% on the week. Heating oil is up 1.02% on the week. Coal is up 6.70% on the week. So as you can see, I mean, even though we have a drill baby drill administration, we don't see it reflected in the prices. Just saying. Now metals, once again, you heard me say that gold right now is way over $3,100 a troy ounce, which is unbelievable. I think there's still room there. But as I stated, keep an eye on silver. And I even said on the last show, keep an eye on copper. Because copper is going to be needed, especially if these people are going to continue with this EV dream of manufacturing all these electronic vehicles in Europe. They want all of Europe fucking vehicles to be gas-free by 2030 or whatever the case might be. And take a look at copper. It is up 10.18% on the month. Year-to-date is up 26.63%. That's why you got all these fucking goddamn crackheads going into people's air conditioner units to get the goddamn copper. But anyway, silver, in my opinion, you're going to get a better return on investment. The last time we had a crash, it went up to $60. I think that this crash, we could see silver go up to $100. In my opinion. I think it could go up to a hundo. And as I stated, there's a variety of different ways to invest in silver. If you'd like to invest in physical silver, I am not big on bullion. I think that you should invest in coins because, as I've always stated, coins is a market outside of the spot price of silver. And there's little nuances to coins that increase the price, the clarity of it, the minting of it, whether or not it's graded. And I'm telling you, once the increase of price of silver goes up, so do these coins and their value of their intricacy, whether it's minted. There's a lot of fucking, what do you call them? Morgan silver dollars that are sought after, and they will pay huge amounts of money for. I'm talking collectors if they're minted out of Carson City Minting, the Carson City Mint. So that's why I'm saying silver, in my opinion, coins is where it's at, and you can liquidate them very easy. You can go to a coin show, and let me tell you, these coin collectors, they carry cash, all right? They carry cash, and you can liquidate, and they are not afraid to pay the price. As a matter of fact, I really do appreciate coin collectors, and they're kind of appreciation of the coin itself. But anyway, I didn't mean to get too much on that subject. Just giving everybody a 411. I mean, I'm just saying, I think it's a good time to be starting accumulating silver. I've been trying to tell people that for the past several years. I hope that you invested when it was $14. Anyway, let's go down to what's going to be in the supermarkets of everybody. Agriculture. Now, what did I tell you? All right, I said that if Trump was to do these tariffs, and I said it before the goddamn election, I said the first thing that's going to happen is that the Chinese and the EU and everybody are going to cancel their contracts of agriculture because that's the only thing that we really produce, and that's what's gotten all these fucking farmers so rich because they have pre-written deals. For instance, China, during the day of Hu Jintao, which was the former president before Xi Jinping, he did an American tour in the heartland. I believe this was back in 2010, 2011, 2012, somewhere around then. And he actually negotiated each and every one of these deals with these producers. So what China does, it already pre-buys yields before they're actually grown. Okay? And that's what aids the producer or the farmer in what to produce. All right? What to produce. Now, before I get to commodities, I do want to acknowledge some Buy Me a Coffees here. I want to say cheers to Jataria. I'm going to get to your video in just a second, man. Cheers to you. We've got Mark. You're right. This is the biggest tax increase in global history. We're going to be talking about this for a few hundred years after we're all dead. It is catastrophic. It is, Mark. It really is. That's why I tried to tell everybody back in 2022, March to be exact, when the Fed started raising rates to start accumulating American dollars. All right? As a matter of fact, when everything starts crashing in price, and I'm not talking about the goods, I'm talking about stocks, I'm talking about other investments. I mean, I think commercial real estate is going to take a big dip. These are entertainment, or these are things to entertain an entry point of investment. And the only people that are going to be there that are going to be able to take advantage of these steep discounts of all these assets are those that have money. Cash money. All right? So cheers to Mark, man. Thank you very much, and hope you're having a good Monday. And then we've got Kits Does a Flip, and Kits says, hey, Ghost, I've been a bit busy currently, so might not properly watch this episode live, but I want to comment on Kanye's KKK outfit. When you talk about that in totally useless news, I am going to talk about that. Why the hell is Kanye wanting Diddy freed, yet to bitch about the, quote, Jews, when Diddy was literally discovered by a gay Jew, Clive Davis? But, of course, the retarded groypers think this black schizo will somehow save the white race. Well, you hit all the nails on the head there, Kits Does a Flip. But trying to rationalize with racialists, both white, black, Mexican, Asian, whatever. Trying to rationalize with these people is just impossible. All right? I am not against, okay, this is America. I'm not against anybody wanting to keep, I don't know, some lineage of your culture in your family. All right? I'm not against that. But don't hate on other people who tend to find love in, I don't know, outside their cultural norms, all right, because life is short, all right? Just because you're born a white person doesn't mean that you're going to be a Casanova for white chicks, all right? Just because you're born a black chick doesn't mean that you're going to be some hot black queen for a black brother, all right? And we shouldn't be hating on people that are going out and doing what they want to do so long as they're not infringing upon anybody else, as long as they're not breaking any laws. I don't understand why that's such a big deal. I don't understand why everybody's so pissed off. Hey, you want to keep it with the white race, the black race, the Mexican race? That's your opinion. You can do that. But I'm just simply stating that to hate on others, all right, and to dispense like harassment and to dispense all kinds of vitriol towards folks that are finding a significant other in this world of loneliness now, finding a significant other with some other race. We shouldn't be hating on people, all right? And if it's a bad decision and if it's cultural clash, well, let them learn by themselves, all right? Life will slap them in the face. Anyway, that's all I want to say about that. I'm just so sick and tired of all these racialists, dude, all right? I get it, all right? I'm glad that you're proud of whatever your culture is. All right, that's your right to do so, but don't fucking hate on other people that are trying to live their own fucking lives.
They're eating the cats.
In this fucking world here. Oh, what is this? Not a Jewish person. All right, let me go ahead and read this, and we'll get back to the show here. Not a Jewish person. J.P. Morgan and all these banks are betting on the stock market being up 15% this year. So where you're getting your bearish sentiments with the crash, well, they're idiots. All right, I mean, look. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. That's the same shit they said right before the fucking 08-09 crash. Huh? I mean, you're quoting J.P. Morgan. Remember, Bear Stearns said the same shit. And look at what happened to Bear Stearns. All right, so I'm just simply stating all that. If you want to believe that we're going to go into some badass economy, then put your money where your mouth is. Okay, put your money where your mouth is. If you think it's going to be a bullish economy, then invest in this fucking over-speculated stock market and see what happens. I'm not going to... Look, the only thing I've got in the stock market is a small batch of small caps. And I'm riding the volatility with them because the market is still euphoric and they still believe that these magnificent 7 stocks, which are all at 52-week fucking highs, at all-time highs, they still think that they can invest at all-time high prices and still squeeze out, I don't know, fucking 50, 100% profit, which is ridiculous. So anyway, let's see what happens. Liberation Day is looming. I just gave a case on why this damn thing is going to crash and why Trump wants it to crash. He has an incentive for it to crash. He wants lower rates. All right? Lower rates will have money, once again, cash machine go burr, so that you just keep printing money. You keep printing money to try to offset all the tariff and the high cost of goods. That's what he's trying to do, you moron. As a matter of fact, he's getting it from his homies in China. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. All right, I wrote this today. I mean, every fucking week, the Chinese are printing out more and more money. Their fucking economy is fucking barely holding on. And look at this. They just recapitalized another $69 billion. This is after, last week, $150 billion. This was after a couple of weeks ago, $250 billion. Why are they making their fucking cash machine go burr? Because they know that they're in trouble. Because the manufacturing of China is plummeting completely. And part of that has to do with our tariffs. Part of that has to do with the United States decoupling from China. So China has a whole bunch of product that nobody wants to buy. All right, they're like in a fucking, they have too much product, and nobody wants to buy it. The Europeans don't want to buy it. All right, the fucking poor Asian countries don't want to buy it. So what are they doing? They are putting all kinds of money into the fucking banking system and practically giving it to people in order for people to go out and spend on this crap. And that's exactly what Trump is trying to do, you stupid idiot, all right? I get it. Many of you people, these concepts are very above your pay grade, but that's what the fuck is happening, all right? Look at this shit. $69 billion in the nation's largest banks. because they're trying to get Chinese people to purchase their crap. The fuck out of here, man. All right, that's similar shit to what Trump is trying to do. All right, Trump is trying to crash the economy to force the Fed to fucking cash machine go burr, cash machine go burr. So that, as well as lowering gas prices, he's hoping will offset the massive increase in prices because of tariffs. Give me a fucking break. Anyway, as I was stating, all right, commodities, they're going down for the meantime. They're going down because there's a lot of contracts that were canceled from China, since we were talking about China, and these producers can't hold on to the commodities because the commodity has a finite life cycle. So what happens? They just go ahead and lower the price. And that's exactly what I said was going to happen. I said that once the tariffs were put in, that what will happen is that China's going to cancel all the contracts from agricultural producers. And that Trump is going to take a victory lap, which he is, by the way, right now, that the prices of grocery store goods are going down. But I tell you, and I warn all of you, that these goods and their price decrease is only temporary. You see, next year, these same producers are not going to produce the same amount of yield next year. And as a result, there's going to be less food distributed. So this little price decrease, in my view, I think that you should take advantage and try to get as much as you can, pickle it or jar it or whatever the case might be, because next year, not only are the prices going to go back to the peak that these are coming down from, it's going to go even higher than that. It's going to be even higher than that. So take advantage. Now, let me go down to rare earths, which has been a very big topic as it relates to Donald Trump wanting to do deals with countries. And the reason is you take a look at these rare earths. Look at cobalt, up 41%. Why is cobalt up 41%? Because the Democratic Republic of Congo has suspended all cobalt exports because they are being taken over by a group called the M23. And the M23 are very close to taking complete and total control of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Remember, Trump was even entertaining the possibility of sending, I don't know, troops or whatever the fuck into the Congo because the Congo president is willing to give him a mineral deal. All right, so that's why we're seeing cobalt at 41.11% increase. All right, and by the way, the DR Congo is one of the major producers of cobalt. So that's why I always put DR Congo news on the Ghost Report, because that is very important. It's a rare earth that is needed in a lot of tech and a lot of shit. Take a look at tin. It is also up 14.71%. Look at rhodium, another rare earth. It is up 19.90%. This is a monthly increase, by the way. These are monthly increases. Take a look at magnesium. It is up 7.32% on the month. Tellurium is up 5.76% on the month. And indium is up 10.79% on the month. This is why you have Trump wanting to make rare earth deals. Because if we're going to manufacture tech, we're going to need all these raw materials on hand. And we don't. We don't have them. And as you can see, because the commodities dealers and the commodities brokers react instantaneously, they're not speculators. All right? They're acting accordingly. All right? They're acting accordingly. All right, let me kick out a couple of people here. All right, get these idiots out of here. All right, if you're going to say anything ridiculous, I'm just kicking you the fuck out. All right, kick these people out of here. Kick them all out. All right? I mean, if you don't like the show, then don't fucking stay here. Don't sit here and fucking tickle your asshole and try to make some stupid, dumb troll sentence fragment and think that anybody gives a fuck. All right? All right, if you were so important, you wouldn't be here, all right? You'd be out there fucking making capital instead of sitting there flapping your fucking Cheeto-stained fingers on a keyboard talking shit, all right? Fucking dumb trolls are a bigger pain in the ass than a sticky shit, man. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue here, all right? Let's go. We got cattle and livestock. Now, this has not gone down in any capacity whatsoever, all right? And it's not gonna. It's not gonna. Because, first of all, even though you have a tariff on cattle, America makes the best general beef in the world. All right, I know that there's these nuance, Wagyu and all that shit. When it comes to just general beef for the general consuming public of the world, the United States is hands down the best producer. So that's why we're not going to be, here talking about decreases in fucking cattle anytime soon, or beef in general. I mean, take a look at cattle feeder. It's up 4.62% on the month. I mean, you notice that ain't going down, even though you've got agriculture being cut, or contracts from the agricultural producers in America being cut. It's up 4.62% on the month. Year over year, beef, or I should say cattle feeder, cattle feeder, the shit they feed the cow, it's up 19.2%, or 20% over the year over year. Now, live cattle, it is up almost 1% on the week. It is up 8.13% on the month. Year to year, live cattle is up 15.45%. All right? And yeah, thanks, Cheers, Drunkler. I appreciate it. Get the hell out of here if you don't like it. Get out. Get out! Anyway, as I was stating, take a look at general beef. Year over year, general beef is up 30.99%. All right, so even if it comes down, it ain't coming down that fast. All right, it ain't coming down, so continue to expect to pay $40 for a fucking ribeye steak. All right, continue to expect that shit. All right? And trolling the intros with the Rumble Rants, he said, I bet we still gonna be a top beef exporter despite the tariffs. I agree with that. The price reflects that as well there, trolling the interwebs. All right, the price reflects that. So cheers to you. I hope you're doing all right, man. I haven't seen you in a minute, so cheers to you. Lean hog, which is something that is greatly consumed by the Chinese, it is also up 4.39% on the month. Year to date is up 7.47%. Now take a look at what's gone down dramatically. Eggs! Take a look at those eggs, all right? It went down from, almost $9 on the wholesale end down to $3.13 on the wholesale end. Now, why did that happen? Well, because Trump told his team to find eggs wherever. So we started importing them from Brazil and importing them from South America and shit. So just FYI, that you're probably going to see these eggs that are being consumed right now imported from elsewhere. All right? And by the way, kick fucking Reginald out of here. Get all these fuckers out of here. Get them out. All right? This is True Capitalist Radio, you troll terrorist bastard. All right? We don't want your ass here. Get them out. Piece of shit. Get all these fucking people out. All right? I'm over here. I'm trying to be serious in a very serious time, and all you fucking assholes want to do is tickle your asshole and then put it in your mouth because that's the only thing that you're going to taste in the damn Trump administration, you piece of shit. All right? So keep coping, you trans-testicle turd burglars. Anyway, once again, yeah, eggs could be from elsewhere. Okay, just FYI. I mean, that's why. How did this happen? Okay, somebody explain to me how this happened. It happened because the Trump administration was all hands on deck trying to fucking bring down the cost of eggs by any means necessary. And many of these fucking eggs are not from America, even though we're supposed to be making America great again. I don't know. You got to figure that shit out. But I'm not joking around, man. I mean, come on, man. Here, let me just show you. Put the PC shot on. U.S. turns to Brazil for eggs and considers other sources during the bird flu outbreak. You know what's really funny is that Canada isn't suffering from a bird flu outbreak. Mexico isn't suffering from a bird flu outbreak. How come it's only America that's suffering from a bird flu outbreak, huh? Things that make you go, All right, so once again, this is what Trump is doing. I mean, you can't blame him. I mean, the egg thing was a little egg on the face, no pun intended, to the administration, who has been touting, make America great again, make America great again, make America great again. I mean, when part of the good old American breakfast is going up by 1,000% plus. Come on, Maine, is all I got to say to that. Anyway, folks, that concludes the financial portion. And there was a little bit of some politics in there, but politics relating to the market and how the politics of the day is going to affect the markets. Now, folks, let's go ahead and talk about cryptocurrency here. Put the PC shot on. Now, folks, I am not a buyer of crypto. I think Trump fucked it up for everybody. I think Trump coin and that rug pull will probably be investigated. At least it should be investigated by the opposition, because that should really be what's taking him down. That fucking moron in Argentina, Milei, I mean, they're trying to take him down and criminally prosecute him for doing the same goddamn thing. And yet, you have Trump over here selling this fucking meme coin to a bunch of losers, magatards, getting $50 billion and rug pulling everybody. I just can't believe that Trump can get away with this kind of rug pulling on you, moron. I just can't believe it. I'm amazed. And you know what? It's coming to an end, though. It's coming to an end. And the reason I say it's coming to an end, folks, is because people are not going to have the money. All right, it's going to come to an end. It's over. I mean, let me show you. Let me give you an example. Let me give you an example, all right? All right, the fact that we have meme coins and meme stocks suggests that we're at a level of euphoria.
They're eating the cats.
All right, well, you get it. All right, you get it. Hold on, let me get these donations here. My apologies to the folks that are donating on buymeacoffee.com. Let's see. Cheers, Drunkler. F you. All right. If you're ZZZing, then get the hell out of here. And Froppy, can you ban me from Vaughn chat? I'll be a good boy. Well, I'll do that after the fucking show. All right. I'll do that after the show. But anyway, as I was stating, folks, I really would not be investing in any of this cryptocurrency crap. It's a Ponzi scheme at this point. I mean, that's why everybody that's trying to sell you Bitcoin doesn't want you to fucking sell it. You know, Michael Saylor and all these fucking morons that are, oh yeah, you got to hold your Bitcoin. You got to hold it. You got to hold it. Why do they want you to hold it? So that this fucking idiot Michael Saylor and everybody else can make money arbitraging your asses. All right? How do you think Mike Saylor is making money? Oh, look, I just made another Bitcoin purchase. He's part of the reason why this thing gets pumped. Take a look at how much Michael Saylor has made off of arbitrage, which means he fucking buys something and then trades it off on another cryptocurrency and makes a big fucking profit while he's trying to pretend that he's some fucking Bitcoin bag holder or some shit. What a fucking scumbag. I'm telling you, everybody that's promoting crypto right now is a fucking scumbag. And cheers to Chris, dude. What's up, man? Thanks for the show. Thank you, Chris, and cheers to you, man. Cheers to you, and I appreciate you. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about politics, all right? We talked a lot about the markets here, but let's talk a little bit about politics. I was talking a little bit about, before I got distracted by a Buy Me a Coffee, which, keep distracting me, if you will, Trump's grift days are continuing. Although his grifters, on the other hand, they're starting to recognize that the grift days are numbered. Let me give you a good example. This spiritual advisor to Trump. Have you ever heard of this bitch? Paula White Cain? Well, because she was named as some kind of fucking spiritual advisor to the president, she's now trying to sell all the magatards that you will get supernatural blessings if you give this bitch $1,000 ahead of Passover. All right? Now, I'm not surprised by this, all right? But this suggests that the grift, the MAGA grift, is almost over when you're seeing dumb shit like this, all right? And remember, I'm just surprised Trump was able to sell so much crap to these morons. MAGA Bibles, Trump guitars, Trump watches, Trump NFTs, fucking Trump coin. I'm just unbelievable. I just cannot believe people are still doing this. I can't believe it. All right, supernatural blessing for $1,000. And on top of which, the MAGA-tards continue. All right? What's that idiot's name? That fucking bearded man-child asshole. The Quartering. You hear what happened to him? I don't know if y'all are familiar with this guy. This guy's a fucking disgusting bearded man-child piece of shit, if you want my opinion. But he's MAGA grift so hard that he's paid for his fucking big, huge house. He's paid for all these, like, box video games, like arcade video games. He used to broadcast with them all in the background, like fucking, I don't know, $30,000 or $40,000 worth of fucking arcade boxes, all right? I mean, he has been able to grift upon grift upon grift. Well, the grift is over. I mean, this is another significant. Take a look at this. Here's the Quartering, courtesy of Kiwi Farms. What's up to Josh Moon? The Quartering is now $300,000 in debt trying to kickstart a coffee brand. All right? Like I said, all right, it's over. All right, the MAGA grift is over. And you're starting to see it, man. And guess what? All these MAGA grifters are now starting to recognize that. So they're starting to change their tune. They're starting to change their political positions in order to, I hate to say it, try to farm more support and farm for more people. You know what, folks? I could have done the same shit. I could have, MAGA throughout the 2024 election cycle, but I didn't. You want to know why? Because I stick to principle. All right? I knew that everything Trump was going to do, this was not hard to call. All this downturn in the economy, all this repositioning of foreign policy, all this shit. I mean, all the suffering. I knew this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen. I tried to tell you throughout the whole 2024 election cycle. And what did you fucking idiots say? Oh, you're a Democrat. You're a fucking Democrat. Well, take a look. Chris Christie doesn't look like too bad of an option now, does it, you fucking idiots, huh? As I stated, and I will continue to state it, when you're suffering and you're a MAGA-tard, I want you to think of me, all right? When you're suffering and you lose your job and your house is repossessed and your car is repossessed, I want you to think of me. I want you to think of me. Anyway, what's up? Cornbread Man hooked it up and said, LOL, $240K in debt. Dude, who donates to these losers? Who donates to these losers? I don't get it, man. Let me tell you something. If you want to be a streamer, all right, or if you want to be some kind of a fucking influencer or whatever, rule number one, do not flaunt how much fucking money you make, you idiot. All right? Nobody likes that shit. Anyway, Belligerent Brian, speaking of Kiwi Farms, did you hear Kiwi Farms is no longer accessible to the UK? Yes, I do. And I hear that Josh Moon has got a pro bono lawyer that's going to sue the United States to enforce the UK to not be censor happy. So that's very interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what the culmination of that is. And trolling the interwebs, why do right-wingers try to start right-wing themed coffee companies? Don't they know coffee obsession is lefty shit? Because they were all leftists, dude. This fucking idiot, in my opinion, if you look back, he was once a leftist. I mean, all these right-wing assholes were once leftist. All of them. Look at fucking Russell Brand. I cannot believe that MAGA-tards are listening to that limey piece of fucking drug addict shit. I can't believe that shit. This was the asshole, Russell Brand, who's now become some champion of fucking right-wing politics. This was the fucking jerk-off that got on stage during a 2008 MTV fucking award show and said, "Oh, America, vote for Obama. The world will love you again if you vote for Obama. Please vote for Obama." All right, fucking Russell Brand, for fuck's sake. Now all of a sudden you got all these MAGA-tards sucking his fucking effeminate schlong. It's ridiculous. That was it, Salty Cracker asshole. Another fucking leftist piece of shit. I mean, are you not surprised? Jesus Christ, man. And trolling the interwebs. Cheers to trolling the interwebs. And then Belligerent Brian, if it ends up in a court in the UK, want me to go as a legit TCR correspondent? I would if you could, man. Cheers to Belligerent Brian. And not Doomcat. Fun fact, the Quartering guy ruined the word woke on everything, infesting right-wing social media platforms. This guy is anti-SJW. Shout out to Willie Mack exposing the video on quartering. Well, give me a break. Look, I just cannot believe that people still donate to the fat fraud, even though he flaunts his ridiculous consumption in front of his fucking viewers. I don't give a shit how much money you make, all right, from streaming. You should never show off that you got $50,000 plus worth of arcade boxes in the back of you while you're streaming. And you know, I talked shit to him for a few months about this, and he finally took them off. He's like, you know what, I'm getting rid of the video game. Yeah, you better get rid of the video games, you fucking loser. And look, at least the quartering got paid, right? I mean, at least he got paid. What about the fucking Proud Boys? Did you hear about what's happening to the Proud Boys? Once upon a time, the Proud Boys was an organic movement against Antifa. All right? They were in opposition. Organic. All right? They weren't paid by anybody. And take a look at what the Proud Boys are doing now. Have the fucking tides have turned. Take a look at this. Proud Boys have now come to the defense of Tesla. They're beating people's ass for fucking Elon Musk. Hey, Proud Boys, Elon Musk better be fucking paying you some shit, dude. All right, are you fucking kidding me? I mean, lest we forget that Tesla was once upon a time a leftist company that promoted a leftist agenda. I mean, Elon Musk liked to pride himself on his diversity at Tesla. Unfucking believable. The Proud Boys are now the private security of Tesla, and they're probably not getting paid a goddamn thing for it. All right? Hey, Elon Musk, why don't you give them some fucking Teslas? They're not even fucking selling anyway. All right? Unfucking believable. Unfucking believable what's going on here. I mean, are we surprised, though? Are we really surprised? I'm not surprised. I tried to tell each and every one of you that this was going to happen. I tried to scream it throughout the whole 2024 campaign, and everybody called me a leftist and all that. Yeah, well, take a look at you now, boy. All right, take a look at you now. I mean, do you want me to go on? I mean, I wish I could give you people some decent news. I'm not. And look, even the White House is freaking out about October 7th. Or, excuse me, October 7th. That's when Hamas hit up Israel. April 2nd, excuse me. All right, take a look at this. White House officials are quietly freaking out about Trump's upcoming Liberation Day. Because, folks, this is a huge gamble that this guy is putting on the American economy. A huge gamble. And he knows it. He knows it. Now, while his White House is freaking out about Liberation Day, he's coming out and being nonchalant about it. Take a look at this. Trump says the ultimate fruits of tariffs will be worth the pain. So that's why I told each and every one of you folks throughout all of 2027, or excuse me, 2024, I'm getting ahead of myself for fuck's sake, 2024, that this was going to happen. That if tariffs were implemented, that there were going to be reciprocal tariffs on us, if not worse. And they're going to cancel our contracts. And look, it's not even the government anymore. I mean, Trump has pissed off every person in every country in the world. Canada, I mean, this has galvanized Canada. You know that?
They're eating the
This
cats.
has galvanized Canada. Canada doesn't even want to purchase American goods anymore. All right, they don't even want to purchase. I'm talking to the Canadian people, not the government. They don't even want to purchase American goods. How is that helping? Jesus Christ. And what is this? Cheers, Drunkler. So stopping domestic terrorists from destroying things is bad now? Okay, boomer. Hey, Elon Musk is the richest fucking person in the world. Why doesn't he pay for his own fucking personal army to fucking guard these fucking places? All right? Why doesn't Elon fucking do it? I'll tell you why. Because he's a fucking rodent, disgusting, cheap piece of shit bastard. All right? And if you don't believe me, take a look at his most recent baby mama. Take a look at his most recent baby mama. You know what I'm talking about, right? That fucking, what's her name? Ashley St. Clair. Did you hear what happened to Ashley St. Clair? She has a kid from the richest man in the world, and because, fucking Elon Musk, because of all his fucking team of lawyers and shit, were able to finagle a massive decrease in this bitch's child support, she's having to sell her Tesla. All right, take a look at this shit. She's having to sell her Tesla.
I'm selling it because I need to make up for the 60% cut that Elon made to our son's child support.
Why do you think that he did that?
That's a great question for him.
You feel like he was sort of like vindictive against you in some way?
Yeah, that's his modus operandi when women speak out.
When was the last time that you spoke to him or tried to speak to him?
February 13th?
But he's just not responding to you at all. How would you characterize
So look, this is Elon Musk. This is a guy that claims that I like family and I like having children. I want to have a lot of children. Yeah, but he doesn't want to fucking take care of them. All right? I mean, give me a fucking break. And hold on, somebody just donated. Defund Israel just donated. October 7th was objectively a good thing and we need more. No, we're not. I'm not. You're a sick fucking piece of shit for saying that. All right, you're a sick fucking piece of shit for saying that, dude. But anyway, this is Elon Musk here. All right, that's why I'm telling you why the fucking Proud Boys are going and protecting Tesla without any kind of compensation is absolutely retarded.
They're eating the cats.
All right, this is the richest man in the world here. All right? The richest man in the fucking world. And, they're hurting me. They're hurting me even though I'm cutting off all... I mean, never mind. Froppy, what is it? Cheers Drunkler over here demanding we show empathy for a guy who said empathy is for the weak. Did they check those Teslas for drugs? Looked like an overdose. Man, Froppy, there you go, Cheers Drunkler. Froppy, I hate to agree with Froppy on that one, but he told you off. Told you off. Anyway, I didn't mean to get off on that soliloquy about Elon Musk, but, of course, Cheers Drunkler over here talking, the Proud Boys are trying to protect America from terrorism. Why doesn't fucking Musk go out there and pay for his own personal army, dude? He's the richest man in the fucking world. Jesus Christ. Anyway, as I stated, Trump doesn't give a shit about the tariffs. He said it'll be worth the pain. And then when a reporter asked him, well, what about the fucking car prices rising? He doesn't give a shit. Look at that shit. Trump does absolutely not give a shit about prices. You want to know why? Because he's not going to have to pay for them. You are. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't give a shit. So this is the mentality we're going into in this supposed transition, all right, into the economy. Now, in theory, it may sound good, all right, but it's going to take a 10-year plan for this fucking thing to actually come to fruition. It's going to take 10 years. And we're probably going to be in a depression for those 10 years before we see any fruits of this shit. Yeah, it's a transitional economy. That's what he fucking calls it. We're transitioning from whatever the American economy was to this tariff-based economy where we're tariffing any imports that come into the country and we're going to make all this initiation into domestic production, which I don't know if it's a good idea. I mean, what? We're going to bring back factories of people that are, putting the tail on the fucking ass of a Pokemon in an assembly line? Is that what we're going to do? Is that the fucking answer, really? Is that the answer? Anyway, Trump doesn't care less. If you're going to pay more for cars, you know what? Tough titty. All right, tough titty. And look, a shock poll came out. Americans want Trump to focus more on prices, not tariffs. All right, well, of course. I mean, that's the point, right? I mean, that's what you were supposed to be voting for, your best interest in making sure that the general American public benefits. And how does the general American public benefit from an administration? If they focus on the economy, stupid. If they focus on the economy. And unfortunately, Trump is not focusing on the economy. He is trying to transition the economy. And look, if you guys want to transition to the economy, that's great. Y'all are just not going to have money. Y'all are not going to have very much money. Y'all are not going to have very much material goods. All these cheap phones and shit, which, believe it or not, they're not really that cheap. But, I mean, a $1,200 phone that's made elsewhere is now going to miraculously cost you about $4,000 or $5,000. I'm not joking. And we got trolling the interwebs, deport Congress. Yeah, well, Congress ain't doing a goddamn thing. They're allowing Trump to do whatever he wants, allowing Elon Musk to do whatever the fuck he wants. I mean, focus on prices. Now, how do you bring down prices? You bring down prices by going in a bilateral capacity and renegotiating trade deals. which is what I thought Trump did very well back in the 2016 to the 2020 era. All right? And plus, he only put tariffs on people that compromised our interests. You know that? I mean, this is just unbelievable. And now he's just universally tariffing everybody. Unfucking believable. Unbelievable. And I'm telling you right now, folks, April 2nd is going to be a very interesting day in the stock market. It's going to be a very interesting day in the commodities market. And whatever the initial reaction is, it's not going to be good. All right? It's not going to be good. Let me talk about a couple other things. I didn't get to talk about Pete Hegseth and the absolute incompetent that he is. Now, you all know about the Signal chat. You all know about all this stuff. I mean, the utter incompetence of this guy, all right? Because first and foremost, aside from the Signal chat, all right, and by the way, 74% of Americans do say that it's fucking serious, all right? And it's universal amongst all spectrums of the political spectrum. And yet Trump today, when you try to talk about it today, it's over. It's done. All right, we're not talking about it anymore. We're moving on. Even though I thought it was a very serious breach of national security. Here it is right here. White House says case closed on Mike Waltz. This is the guy who brought in the Atlantic, which is a leftist fucking publication, Atlantic journalist onto the Signal chat. All right? So it's over. Don't worry. All that stuff that was supposed to be kept secret, it's not classified. Don't worry about it. All right? I mean, this is Hillary Clinton 2.0. All right? Hillary Clinton 2.0. And, of course, Pam Bondi isn't going to open an investigation on it. Patel isn't going to open an investigation on it. Unfucking believable. And, by the way, did Tulsi Gabbard commit perjury when testifying in front of the House Intel Committee? All right, take a listen to this. All right, this is her. Now, listen. These Intel Committee meetings were already pre-planned. This one was planned, and then there was one before this one in front of the Senate Intel Committee. Now, I find it rather coincidental that this Signal chat was released right before this testimony to catch these people in a lie. Now, listen to Tulsi Gabbard. You're playing.
Yes, Ranking Member. My answer yesterday was based on my recollection or the lack thereof on the details that were posted there. I was not, and what was shared today reflects the fact that I was not directly involved with that part of the Signal chat and replied at the end reflecting the effects, the very brief effects that the National Security Advisor had shared.
So it's your testimony that less than 2 weeks ago, you were on a Signal chat that had all of this information about F-18s and MQ-9 Reapers and targets on strike, and you in that 2-week period simply forgot that that was there. That's your testimony?
My testimony is I did not recall the exact details of what was included there.
That was not your testimony. Your testimony was that you were not aware of anything related to weapons packages, targets, and timing.
As the testimony yesterday continued on, there were further questions related to that, where I acknowledged that there was conversation about weapons, and I don't remember the exact wording that I used, but I did not recall the specific details that were included.
Director Gabbard, you've reasserted that there was no classified information. I think we can all agree that that information shouldn't have been out there. But let me ask you this. Are you familiar with the ODNI's classification guidance?
Now, these people came prepared, okay? Because they're asking her about protocols whenever there's any leaked information whatsoever. And she doesn't know. Play it.
I've actually got a copy right here. If I read you a part of that guidance, I wonder if you could tell me what the level of classification indicated is. I'm reading from your classification guidance. And the criteria is information providing indication or advance warning that the U.S. or its allies are preparing an attack. Do you recall what your own guidance would suggest that that be classified?
I don't have the specifics in front of me, but it would point to...
I don't know. I'm new. I don't know.
What was shared would fall under the DoD's classification system, and the Secretary of Defense's authority.
So let me
to
help you, because
determine
there's a
what is
very clear
classified
answer.
and what is
Now
not.
listen. Now did you hear her there? She said, "Well, the Secretary of Defense decides what's classified." Both Tulsi Gabbard and the CIA head Ratcliffe both technically threw Hegseth under the bus. That it's his call. He's the defense secretary, and he is in charge on what's classified or what isn't, which is not the protocol. But go ahead and play the last part.
You don't have it, but information providing, this is the ODNI guidance, information providing indication or advance warning that the U.S. or its allies are preparing an attack should be classified as top secret. Do you disagree with that?
I don't disagree with that. I just point out that the DoD classification guidance is separate from the ODNI's classification guidance.
Do you think it would be
And
materially different?
Ultimately, the Secretary of Defense holds the authority to classify or declassify.
Do you think
Now,
it's
there it
likely
is.
the DoD guidance is materially different from what I just read?
I haven't reviewed the DoD guidance.
Yeah, I mean, look at Cornbread Man with a rumble rant. I don't recall. I don't know. It's not in front of me. I don't know. Why the fuck were you nominated to this fucking position if you don't know shit? All right, I think that's perjury right there. All right, I think that's fucking perjury. And let me tell you, I think everybody should be focused on some of these special elections that are coming up. You know, some of these special elections, I think, are going to be a tale on what's going to be in the midterms. Okay? One special election right now that was looked at that is beginning of a potential revolt against whatever the hell Trump is doing was a Democrat that won here recently in a special election in a state Senate race where Trump led by 15 points against Harris. Now, granted, Pennsylvania is always skittish when it comes to its political position. I mean, it seesaws between left and right every 5 or 10 years. But still, all right, that's one indication that, you know, people are not really down with what the hell's going down in the United States today. And, of course, everybody's
eating the cats.
Everybody's looking at there's a Florida election as well that everybody is looking at. That's a special election. And if the Democrats somehow pull off that Florida special election, I think that the Republicans are in big fucking trouble. And look, there's not too many people happy about this. So I'm going to be curious to see what the hell happens in these elections. And Gino X 1987, can you talk about Kanzuk? If you don't know, then look it up. It's kind of important to cover. Well, I'll look into it there. Thank you, Gino, and cheers to you. All right. But anyway, as I was stating, man, not looking good. A complete incompetence at every level of government at this point. And, I mean, just to show you incompetence, I mean, take a look at the Department of Homeland Security broad. What's her name? Cosplay Barbie. Fucking Kristi Noem. Take a look at this. She actually went to El Salvador, which I'd like to know the cost of the flight and all the details of that when we're supposed to be cutting, right, Doge? But she had the audacity to go to El Salvador in this super prison wearing a $50,000 Rolex. Are you kidding? I mean, fucking optics, for fuck's sake, man. I mean, who's politically consulting the Trump administration? I mean, you're just giving more and more political fodder when you're blundering all over the place with this type of shit. A $50,000 Rolex watch in a fucking impoverished country. What a bunch of disconnected fucking pieces of crap. And of course, you know that all the critics are going to point to the fact that, oh my God, look, you're so disconnected. You've got a Rolex watch and you're trying to... It's unbelievable how pathetically idiotic this administration is playing its optics politically. I'm not joking. I mean, it's fumbling all over the place. I mean, don't y'all understand fucking optics, for Christ's sake? Come on! And on top of that, Tuesday, tomorrow, is going to be the confirmation hearing of the next Joint Chiefs of Staff. And it's a guy by the name of Dan Raising Kane. All right, that's his name, Raisin. And we're going to look at like what are the topics that are going to be questioned towards Dan Raising Cane. Signalgate. All right, it's going to be a point of emphasis tomorrow at this testimony of Dan Raising Cane. Whether or not that this is applicable, whether or not this should be a means of communication for national security, whether it was classified information. That's going to be a point of emphasis on the new Joint Chiefs of Staff testimony. AI and autonomous weapons. Now, folks, this is where I think that we need to put a point of emphasis on. We need to open our eyes. That's why there's a restructuring of the global order. And why? Because China is the biggest threat when it comes to AI and autonomous weapons. If you take a look at the recent Ghost report here and go down to the China section, China wants to lead the world in humanoid robots. All right? They are mass manufacturing these things by the millions. And it's certainly not to take care of Granny or to help you fucking wash dishes. They're doing it for nefarious purposes. And the new next war is going to be robots and autonomous vehicles and autonomous drones. And they'll be able to capture any target. I mean, this is going to be a scary new world. A very scary new world. So I just thought I'd put a point of emphasis on that. Anyway, going back to Dan Raising Cane's testimony tomorrow, AI and autonomous weapons are going to be on the agenda. Also Doge, and whether or not Doge actually jeopardizes our national security. I've tried to suggest that it has. I mean, just take a look at what's going on here. Let me go ahead and go back here. Today, another plane crash. Another plane crash amidst Doge cuts. Take a look at this. All right. Officials, U.S. bank executive piloted crashed plane that departed from Des Moines. I mean, how many goddamn plane crashes has it been this year? I mean, is this all a coincidence? I mean, is it so happened that we have all these plane crashes and a shortage of air traffic control and all this shit and Doge cuts? Is it just a mere coincidence? I don't think so. All right, I don't think so. But anyway, going back to Dan Raising Cane, they're going to ask about Doge. All right, whether it's making our national security interests vulnerable. And combatant command reorganization. Now, this is something that supposedly Pete Hegseth, even though I think he's incompetent, he's trying to put a point of emphasis on reorganizing commands. For instance, if you take a look at the latest Ghost report today, Hegseth actually was in Japan here recently, or in Asia. And
They're eating the cats.
And hold on, El Foxo Loco, thank you very much, man. Cheers to you. And he's actually reorganized, all right, Central Command in Asia in order to offset China. All right? So it's good to know that the United States is providing deterrence against China. Because China is, in my opinion, our biggest national security threat. And if we don't create deterrence in order to prevent them from doing something crazy, especially now with their emphasis on creating all these autonomous humanoid robots, autonomous drones, I mean, we need to, I'm telling you right now, we need to figure it out. All right? We need to figure it out. And I thought this was, that's right, I'm on the wrong day. Hold on just a second. Because I thought I put a article up here about Pete Hegseth revamping Central Command in Asia to offset China. Yeah, here it is right there. Hegseth upgrades U.S. command in Japan to deter China. So at least Hegseth has got it right here, okay? At least he's got it right here. I'll give him that. Because we certainly need a opposition to China. And I'm glad that the United States realizes that. And on top of which, even though we may be throwing some kind of tariffs on South Korea, it seems as if the South Korea and U.S. forces role remains unchanged, despite potential tariffs or potential discord amongst those within South Korea. So it's good to know that we are providing some level of deterrence against China. And last but not least, what's America's role on the world stage? I mean, what is our role on the world stage? I don't know anymore. I don't know. We used to be the leader. Now, I don't know. So these are going to be very interesting questions tomorrow for the Joint Chiefs of Staff. This is Dan Raising Cane on the left, and this is Senator Jim Banks on the right. So this is what is going to be happening tomorrow for all you political junkies that want to see some testimony and maybe some squirming. Who knows? Sorry about that. Anyway, let's continue, folks. All right, let's go on to another subject matter. All right, let's go ahead and talk about Russia. All right. Now, if you take a look at the head of Report, or the headline of Report, Trump is supposedly pissed at Putin. And why is he pissed at Putin? Well, because he decided, I'm talking about Putin, to make comments about setting up some kind of transitional government in Ukraine, basically nullifying Zelensky. And that, of course, doesn't help the peace process. So as a result, Trump is now publicly coming out and saying that he is pissed at Putin. And look, I don't blame him for being pissed, because I hope you know by now, Trump, that Putin is playing you. All right? What he's doing is buying time in order for him to regroup. He's already conscripting another fucking 100,000 troops. He's got North Korea providing its own troops, trying to purchase weapons elsewhere. I mean, come on, Trump. You got to figure this shit out. You have to know that Putin doesn't give a fuck about you. He doesn't care. He's not your friend. This is pure foreign international relations 101. All right? Just because all these magatards in the United States bow to you because you got a skunk head doesn't mean that Russia is going to. All right, we've already had, 3 different administrations that have tried to reach out to the Russians. Bush Jr. invited him back in the early 2000s at his fucking Crawford Ranch. We had Obama and Hillary Rodham Clinton in 2009 trying to reset the relationship between Russia and the United States, and that ended with the annexation of Crimea. Then when Trump came into office, I guess that was a holding pattern for Putin in order for him to get enough military armaments and troops to do the invasion of Ukraine. So come on, Maine. All right, come on, Maine. Now, on the flip side, Trump's not too happy with Zelensky, because Trump says that Zelensky is now trying to back out of the minerals deal that they kind of vocally agreed upon. All right? So, in my opinion, this whole Ukraine-Russia negotiation is falling apart right before our eyes. And I'm going to be interested in seeing how Trump is going to spin this. All right? Because, let me tell you, I thought that this whole talks was doomed from the start. And why do I say that? Because of the U.S. envoy that is going over there doing the negotiation. Now, who the fuck is doing it? It ain't Marco Rubio. It's some guy by the name of Steve Witkoff. Now, who the fuck is Steve Witkoff? Well, I certainly don't know who the fuck he is. But if you take a look at the history of Trump and Witkoff, Trump actually met Witkoff at a fucking deli. He met him at a fucking New York deli. The guy who's doing the negotiation for the Russia-Ukraine peace, Trump met him at some deli. Now, how did they get to know each other? Well, Trump actually asked Mike Witkoff at this deli if he could give him a 20 because he didn't have any cash on him. So Witkoff gave him a 20, and from that point forward, the friendship budded, and now this son of a bitch is the envoy to negotiating peace in Russia. It goes to say that it's not what you know, it's who you know. All right? So for all you basement dwellers and all you people that don't go outside, that socialize online exclusively, you're doing yourself a disservice. All right? This fucking jerk-off met Trump at a deli, for heaven's sake, and gave him a 20 and has been friends with him ever since and put him. Trump appointed this fucking guy who probably has no experience whatsoever in international relations, put him as head envoy of the Ukraine-Russia talks. That's just fucking great. Yeah, that doesn't that make you feel better? Doesn't that make you feel safe? Fucking asshole puts up just some idiot that he met at a deli as the head negotiator of Ukraine-Russia. Unbelievable. Anyway, going back to Zelensky wanting to back out of this minerals deal, Don comes out and says, look, you're going to have big problems, all right? You back out of the minerals deal, you're going to have big problems, guy. So now he's talking shit to Putin while indirectly threatening Zelensky. As I stated, the Ukraine-Russia peace talks are falling apart. All right, they're falling apart. Anybody that tries to put a positive spin on this, you're an idiot. I knew this was going to happen. This is Putin's style. This is what he does. I don't even know why Trump even entertained this shit. Now we look like a bunch of schmucks in front of everybody. All right? Our former allies hate us. The fucking Russians don't give a shit about us. The Chinese hate us. Everybody in the fucking world hates us. Jesus fucking Christ, man. What are the big problems, Trump, that fucking you're going to do to Ukraine? What are the big problems? Jesus Christ, man. And look, the House GOP is finally coming out, and they're not liking the way Trump is approaching this whole Ukraine-Russia thing. House Republicans are coming out and scolding Trump for his velvet gloves approach with fucking Vladimir Putin. And look, there's no, you want to know why House Republicans are talking shit? Because it doesn't make sense. None of this shit makes sense. It doesn't benefit us. It doesn't help us on the world stage. It makes us look fucking weak. It makes us look fucking weak. Anyway, El Foxo with a Buy Me a Coffee. I work in a medical device industry as an electrician that controls automation engineer, and already we're taking a hit from the tariffs. My company announced that they canned merit pay along with bonuses for the year out of the blue last Tuesday, and the tariffs on pharma/medical devices, artificial hips, contact lenses, tools for heart surgery, shit like that. Most in the company now think the industry CEOs had a heads up about this before the workers, which is why any benefits for workers in the industry were cut before the announcement. Nobody feels particularly motivated anymore. Everyone has been working their asses off for the past year, and now it's apparent that all the extra work was for nothing. And considering that a lot of us were doing extra 20 hours a week, we're all just done at this point. Even during the last financial crash, our industry did fairly well since demand for medical devices never really declines. So any sense that our industry is stable anymore is faded. On the upside, hoping to get work at a distillery so I can profit off the increase in the people drinking themselves to death. Well, unfortunately, entertainment and alcohol and substances do go up during recessions. Anyway, thanks, Trump. I'm sure your golf course near Shannon totally won't be... I'm not going to say that, dude. I'm not saying that. Anyway, as you can see, El Foxo Loco, he's in Europe, somewhere in Europe, and he is feeling the brunt end of the... This is going to be a global recession. I just want you all to know that. This is going to be global. Anyway, sorry, El Foxo. I hope you do find, a good job, man. I know it's some tough times, man. I try to tell everybody. I tried to tell everybody, and of course, everybody called me some fucking Democrat, which I'm not, but look at you now. I'm just saying, look at you now, baby. Anyway, back to House Republicans scolding Trump for his velvet gloves on Putin. It's about time. I think it's a little late. All right? I think it's a little late. All right? Because Trump, all he can do at this point is now put out a bunch of rhetoric. You know? Like he put out today that I'm going to set some psychological deadline for Putin. All right? I'm going to set a psychological deadline. He doesn't give a shit, Trump, you fucking moron. These are not like your lackeys that would suck the goddamn smegma out of... Well, never mind. They're not like your lackeys, all right? All right? Fucking Putin and the Russians can't be trusted. How many times do we have to go through this in fucking history before we recognize this shit? Even General Patton, which Trump claims to admire so much, said that we should have went after the Russians right after the Nazis fell. We should have went right after these commie bastards. All right, we should have went right after them. But we didn't. And look at us now. We're still fucking with these cockeyed, vodka-drinking throwbacks in evolution. Jesus Christ. I'm sorry. Look, I'm sorry if I'm talking loud, all right? Give me a fucking break. I'm just pissed, all right? I'm just pissed. For fuck's sake. Yeah, I'm going to give him a psychological deadline. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give him a psychological deadline. You ain't going to do shit. You're not going to do shit, Trump. You're not doing shit. Unfucking believable. Where are we going from here, man? Although Putin continues to play goddamn Trump like a fiddle. Look at this. Putin remains open to speaking with Trump, even after saying that he's pissed off with him. Aww. Jesus Christ. I can't believe. Hey, Trump, listen, man. I get it that you have an ego the size of a cathedral and you think everybody kisses your ass. This fucking guy is playing you, you moron. You're either being played by Putin or you're co-opted by Russia. There is no other explanation for this stupidity. There's no other explanation. None whatsoever. There's no other explanation for this shit. Oh, God. Anyway, although one thing that Putin does agree with Trump on is Greenland. Actually, Putin discussed why the United States has a quest for Greenland. Maybe y'all want to hear it, since many of you MAGA-tards are fucking... You suck Putin's schlong harder than you do Trump's schlong. Here, go ahead and play it. All right, here's Putin.
Владимир Владимирович
And
Путин.
read the subtitles, all right?
Но вы знаете, это только на первый взгляд может кого-то удивить. И глубоко ошибочно
Now here,
полагать, что
let me
это...
read it since the chat is somewhat, kind of skewing the sight of the captions. You know, this may surprise someone only at first glance, and is
Взгляд может кого-то удивить.
And is deeply mistaken to believe that these are some kind of extravagant talks of the new American administration. He's talking about Greenland.
Глубоко ошибочно полагать, что это какие-то экстравагантные разговоры новой американской администрации. Ничего подобного.
Nothing of the sort, he says.
На самом деле, такие планы...
In fact, such plans of the United States of America appeared back in the 60s of the 19th century.
У Соединенных Штатов Америки проявились еще в 60-е годы XIX века. Уже тогда американская
Even then, the American administration considered the possibility of annexing Greenland and Iceland.
администрация рассматривала возможность аннексии Гренландии и Исландии. Во время Второй мировой войны США разместили
During the World War II, the United States placed military bases in Greenland to protect from Nazi capture.
в Гренландии военные базы для защиты от захвата ее нацистами. А после
And after the war, the United States offered Denmark to buy the island.
окончания войны Штаты предложили Дании выкупить эти острова. Совсем недавно, по меркам
Quite
мировой
recently
истории.
in world
Словом, речь
history.
идет о серьезных
So, in short, we're talking about a serious plans on the American side regarding Greenland.
планах с американской стороны в отношении Гренландии.
Yeah, I mean, he's taking it serious. I mean, I get why Trump wants Greenland. I completely understand it, but you could have gone about it a little differently, all right? You could have gone about it a little differently. Now you've offended the people of Greenland. You've pissed off Denmark. Did you tell you the Battle of Greenland, all right, heats up with Denmark's prime minister to visit. Well, he's visiting. He just landed, and he gave the United States a scathing rebuttal against the annexation of Greenland. Now, look, I do understand the military strategic purpose of Greenland. Could have done it a little differently. All right? And look, Trump is not, he says it, he's not joking when he says that he's going to use the United States military in order to potentially annex Greenland. So what, is this going to start a war with us in Europe? I mean, that falls right into fucking Russia, man. I mean, good God. All right, whatever. Fucking Greenland. Like, meh, meh, meh. Jesus Christ. All right, let's talk a little bit about China for briefly. We talked a little about China before, but let's talk about China. Now, I did say that Hegseth, he did upgrade U.S. command in Japan in order to deter China. I did talk about how South Korea says that the U.S. forces' role in South Korea has become unchanged. Even though all that is right, even though all that is a reality, the fact that the tariffs are being universal amongst all trading partners, it is now pushing other Asian allies. I'm talking U.S. Asian allies towards China. Take a look at this. Trump tariffs pushing U.S. allies into China's orbit. I mean, the way that this administration is going about this is not making America any more safer, all right? This is actually putting us in a very vulnerable situation. As I stated, if I were China, I would go make a move on Hawaii or Alaska right now. Right now. And the reason I say that is because no one is going to come to the United States' aid. No one. On the contrary, I think that Canada would help China. I think that Mexico would help China. I think that our Asian, quote, allies would help China. And China could do it and say that the United States has become an international belligerent and is trying to take the world into an insecure, chaotic situation. And the reason China is doing this, maybe taking over Hawaii, maybe taking over Alaska, is to deter or to prevent or to stop the aggression by the United States. And I'll tell you right now, I think it's a good gamble for China. I mean, China, it could use a confrontation to help Xi Jinping's fledgling popularity and its economy. And I'm not saying I'm pro-China when I say this. When you're a student of foreign policy, you have to identify vulnerabilities and be able to identify trajectory of vulnerabilities, and we're vulnerable right now. All right, we're vulnerable. And trolling the interwebs with a Rumble rant, bomb Denmark. Are you fucking bomb Denmark? Oh, shit. Are you see what I'm talking about? Bomb Denmark? What the fuck did Denmark do? All right, there are a bunch of wussies over there in Denmark, man. They got a bunch of statues of men with little penises over there. What the fuck bombed Denmark, for Christ's sake? Good God. Anyway, Trump tariffs once again pushing U.S. allies into China's orbit. Not looking good for the United States. Now, even though you've got Trump trying to kind of cause a wedge between Russia and China, that's really partly the motivating factor of Trump getting friendly with Russia, is to drive a wedge between China and Russia. Doesn't seem like it's happening. All right? Here you have the China foreign minister visiting Russia amid uncertainty around Ukraine ceasefire. I'm sure that's not the only reason they're there. They're there to talk about how they can capitalize off of Trump's actions when it comes to the international community. All right? He's the foreign minister. It's the equivalent of the State Department. All right? And this is the old school guy, the guy that had been there going back to Hu Jintao. All right, remember they pulled down the old guy, the old foreign minister. Well, he was actually the new foreign minister, but they yanked him because he had an affair with some bitch on the news or some shit. So I'm just saying, you know, not looking good for the United States. And China knows that we're vulnerable. They know that they're vulnerable because they decided that since Trump is now raising the prospect of bomb Iran, bomb Iran. Because Trump is raising the prospect of that, and by the way, you need to take a look at a lot of military movements. I mean, there's B-2 bombers, there's stealth bombers being moved in the region. So I think Trump is absolutely serious when he's talking about bomb Iran. We'll take a look at this. China sending missile cargo into Iran in order to aid a potential bombing of the country. So, once again, I do want to tell everybody that even though Iran is vulnerable, I think it's ripe for regime change. Iran could be a potential pawn in this grand chessboard for China and Russia. And if we engage in Iran, and if we don't take that damn thing over within a month or two, then Iran could potentially be our Ukraine. Okay? Unless, and I have faith in the American military, I think the Iranian people want to be liberated, but you got Pete Hegseth. He's cutting veterans. I mean, he's doing all kinds of weird shit. And you got this restructuring of the American foreign policy. I have no idea what the hell's going to happen. All right, but hey, China is saying, hey, you arm Ukraine, we're going to arm Iran. All right, so if you bomb Iran, we're going to go ahead and arm them. And by the way, guess what? Iran readied those missiles. All right, look at this. Iran has readied missiles for a potential response amid Trump's escalating threats. So they're already ready to go. So as soon as they get bombed, who knows where those missiles are going to be sent? All right, who knows? By the way, where are all you MAGA people that were out there every fucking day on Twitter, every day in my chat rooms in 2024 saying, I won't die for Israel, I won't die for Israel? Where are y'all at now? Huh? I told you that even though Trump is going to de-emphasize Ukraine, he's going to start a war elsewhere. He's going to start a war elsewhere, and it's going to be in Iran. All right? So I hope that y'all are ready to go in and help liberate the Iranian people, okay? And let me tell you, I mean, if there's not enough people in the military, don't think that Trump is above conscription. He will draft your asses. He will draft your asses. All right, so get ready, baby, all right? And wait a minute, you don't see this coming? Why do you think he wants to put a point of emphasis on domestic manufacturing? Why do you think that he wants to put a point of emphasis on keeping things in America? It's because he is anticipating a global conflict. He's anticipating a global conflict. And hey, Trump, are you seeing all the chat rooms and Rumble and in YouTube? I'm not dying for Israel. You're not going to draft me. Well, I want y'all to remember me when you're drafted and you refuse to serve and you're in fucking jail. I hope that you remember old Ghost here, all right? I hope when you're in fucking solitary confinement because you're a fucking pussy and doesn't want to go
eating the cats.
And fucking defend your country. And hey, this is your president, MAGA. All right, you voted this in. You voted it overwhelmingly. So you people, shut your mouths, get on the goddamn draft line, and get on the front line and liberate fucking Iran, you asshole. All right? That's all there is to it. All right? That's all there is to it. Anyway, Marshall Burns, he said, bomb Denmark and the rest of the EU except Ireland. Bomb those nasty neon Celts back into the Stone Age. That's fucking horrible. That's what I'm talking about right here. All right? That's an American. That's an American. All right? I'll tell you this right now. You all better be ready for conscription. All right? And when war happens and you want to fucking dodge the draft and you're in fucking jail, I want you all to remember Ghost. All right? I want you all to remember Ghost, and I want you to repeat that Ghost said I was going to suffer. Ghost said I'd be suffering. He said throughout the whole 2024 campaign that I was going to be suffering, and I didn't believe him. I didn't believe him because I thought I knew everything when I don't know shit. All right? You thought you knew everything, but you don't know shit. All right? So be a little humble next time in the next political cycle before getting all fucking mouthy at the goddamn Thanksgiving and Christmas fucking dinner table, you fucking pieces of shit. All right? Look, not dying for Israel. Hey, well then get the fuck out of our country if you're not going to defend it, you piece of shit. All right? Get the fuck out of the country if you're not going to defend it. You elected Trump, and if he drafts your ass to go to war, then shut the fuck up and go to war, you piece of shit. All right? If Trump drafts your ass, then shut up and go to war. You voted him in. Remember, Trump likes to highlight that he's got a mandate. He's got a mandate to do this shit. You're goddamn right. You're goddamn right, boy. Look at you. You're salty now, aren't you? Hey, you shouldn't be telling me this. Why don't you go tell your boy Trump, all of you sucked his schlong head throughout 2024, and now this motherfucker is going to come out and send you boys to war, all right? And I think he should. All right, I think he should. Half of you people are ungrateful. Half of you people believe that you should be fucking clothed, housed, and fed just because you got shitted out of your mother's uterus pipe. All right? I mean, we need to fucking toughen this goddamn country up. We've got too many femboys. We got too many fruit bowls. We got too many effeminate males out here who are literally wearing legging jeans in order to show off anal camel toe. We've got to change that shit. All right? So look, even though I disagree with Trump on a lot of the shit domestically, I disagree with him on Russia, I agree. If you're going to fucking bomb Iran, do it now. All right? That could potentially, and look, I'm going to give Trump some advice here. Trump, if you are successful in taking over Iran and liberating those people, then all the blunders that are happening here this year are going to magically go away. They're going to magically go away, and the world will look to America as a liberator once again. And let me tell you, those people in Iran, they want out of the fucking regime of the Ayatollah. They're done with this shit. I'm telling you, if we go in there, they'll greet us as liberators. I'm not just saying that. They will greet us as liberators. They'll be throwing roses at us in the fucking streets. Or what they fucking eat on the saffron. They'll be throwing saffron flowers at us in the fucking streets over there in Iran. All right? And look at these fucking people in the chat room talking all this garbage, for Christ's sake. Look at all these fucking people. I'm going to dodge a draft. I'm going to dodge. You're a fucking anti-American piece of crap, just like I always said you people were. Huh? You're not going to fight for your country, but you'll sit here and reap the spoils of the country, you ungrateful pieces of crap. Look, I'm not even for Trump. I don't even like Trump, all right? But if America goes to war, then I'll do whatever I can in order to protect the country. All right, I'm an old fucking piece of shit, but I don't care. I'll still fucking do whatever it takes to protect the country. Look at you fucking pieces of shit. Huh? Look at you ungrateful, gamer, fucking femboy, effeminate, single mother larva pieces of shit. Look at these pieces of crap. Look at them. Unfucking believable. Unfucking believable, you fucking anti-American scum. Huh? I mean, I told you all you were anti-American.
They're eating the cats.
I told you all you were anti-American. I said that we needed to save America from Americans, you know, because they're the ones that are going to be the ones that are destroying this country. And you take a look at the people that are in the chat room saying, I want to go. There's some idiot in the Rumble chat saying that he's going to frag his fellow fucking soldiers if he's drafted. You got some idiot in there actually saying this shit. Unbelievable. Unfucking believable. Anyway, Geno X 1987 said, I'll bet you that Trump will legalize slavery again. Immigrants will be made into the new labor force, along with children under 10 with poor school grades being selected by government to be conscripted into service. And I bet you'll have an absolute schadenfreude of it all. You mean, I know what you mean, schadenfreude or whatever, the schadenfreude or whatever the fuck it is, like glee in the fact that people are suffering. Well, I don't take glee in people that are suffering, okay? But I'm taking glee in the fact that I was right about every fucking thing I said was going to happen in 2025. The only thing that hasn't happened yet, and believe me, it's coming, the only thing that hasn't happened yet is a shutdown because of a virus or some kind of pandemic. And that day, that's coming, all right? That's coming, baby. That is absolutely coming, mark my words. Anyway, let me continue. I'm just going to go over a few more things here, and then we'll go to some totally useless news. Very interesting situation in the EU, all right? The EU is said to be preparing a calibrated retaliation to U.S. tariffs. Okay, so if you like French champagne or cognac, or you like German beer, or you like any product from the EU, you better get it today and tomorrow, because if you don't, you're going to pay 200+%, 25%, whatever the fucking tariff is, extra. And look, that's just on bringing it into the country. That's just bringing it into the country. They're going to add a little bit more profit onto that tariff in order for them to yield the profit they would have had they not had the tariff to begin with. So I've been buying a lot. Dude, I've been stocking up on fucking Dom Perignon. I've been stocking up on cognac, Prosecco, champagne. Any French champagne you should buy right now. Any fucking French champagne you should buy. And just hold them. And watch, within a year, you're going to be able to sell them probably 100 times more than what you bought it for. 100 times more than what you bought it for. And Cornbread Man, I agree with him in the Rumble rant. Stock up while you can. You've got 2 days left. All right, it's Monday. Go to a fucking liquor store right now. I'm not joking. 200% fucking tariffs on liquor and libations coming out of Europe. Now, with that being said, Trump responded to the EU, and he said that he's going to threaten you with far larger tariffs, and EU and Canada, if they jointly retaliate. So this is not looking good. I don't know what, once again, going back to the stock market, which I covered at the beginning of the broadcast, I don't know why anybody is investing in the stock market outside of small cap growth stocks. And even then, you're going to have to stomach the volatility because these fucking idiots in the market don't know why they're buying shit. All right? They don't know why they're buying shit. I mean, they're still investing in the Magnificent Seven tech stocks that are at fucking all-time highs, thinking that they're going to get a 20% fucking return or some shit. It's ridiculous. So anyway, not looking good for America. I hope you've saved your money because you're going to need it, but many of you haven't. We're at all-time highs on consumer debt. So add that to the factor of the fucking American economy. It doesn't look good. I'm sorry, it just doesn't look good, man. Now, Starmer, over there in the UK, he insists that he is not entering a trade war with the U.S. and will not reciprocate any kind of tariffs. I think Starmer believes that he can make another trip to America or invite Trump to the UK, introduce him to the king and the royal family or some shit, and maybe things will get resolved. He's the only one that has now cowered, in my opinion, to Trump in this whole tariff war. So it's a little bit of a good sign for him that UK is saying, we don't want your trade war. We are not going to reciprocate your tariffs. You're not going to do it. So let's see if the UK somehow gets some kind of bypass of these tariffs now that Starmer bowed down in a public capacity. Now, very interesting, since we're talking about the EU, Italy, because of that resting bitch face prime minister over there, what the fuck's her name? Meloni. Because, I don't know, her and Musk had a thing at, some spaghetti and meatball place over there in Italy or some shit. She is now, she has a different view of Trump than the rest of the EU. As a matter of fact, she wants to embrace the administration of Trump and try to negotiate her country from being exempt from tariffs, if you will. You know what I mean? And trolling the interweb said Keir Starmer is just trying to force the UK back into the EU. Well, that is true. That is true. Unfortunately, trolling, I hate to say it, they are trying to do so, and it's as if the UK people want it to happen as well. And Marshall Bernsey, 2 days left to glass the German beer bitch. Yeah, no shit. I bought a bunch of Spattens. You can't really save beer, so I'm going to be on a Spaten fucking binge here for the next month. And then that's about it, unfortunately. I ain't paying no fucking 200%. Dude, those fucking, it's like $20 a six-pack now for a goddamn Spaten. And it's going to go 200% more than that, man? Fuck that shit. And Belligerent Brian said, Starmer for prison, fuck that asshole, goddamn boat migrant-loving spineless scumfuck. Well, thank you very much, all right, Belligerent Brian. Anyway, once again, Italy's resting bitch-face Prime Minister Meloni trying to play the Trump factor in the EU. And y'all remember, her resting bitch face went googly-eyed when she was, fucking, I don't know, Lady and the Tramp sharing spaghetti with fucking Elon Musk or some shit. All right. Anyway, that's the EU. Let's talk a little bit about Turkey. It continues. The Turkish protests continue. The Turkish protests continue in Turkey. Once again, the whole reason why you've got this uprising amongst mostly young people is because Erdogan, the guy who's been in charge of Turkey for some time now, has now jailed his opposition. And his opposition was actually very popular. And now you've got a mass uprising in Turkey. And look, Erdogan is a shrewd leader. And it's going to be interesting if he can get by this. I mean, I think that he's done He's done things like this before. Lest we forget that fake coup he threw on himself in 2016. I was on the air when that happened. And what he did by throwing that fake coup on himself was out his enemies. Anybody who went along with the so-called coup got purged. All right? Anybody who came out in assistance to the coup got purged. And he staged it on himself. So once again, all right, police used force to break up protests at a university in Turkey's capital. And you're going to continue to see opposition out there. All right? And I think people should take a look at how Turkey is turning into an authoritarian state and how it did so incrementally. That's why the people should always be cognizant about leadership trying to infringe upon rights of the individual. And slowly but surely, that's what fucking Turkey's Erdogan did. Before Erdogan, Turkey was one of the best liberal democracy capitalist countries in the Middle East. And then Erdogan came in and slowly but surely changed the country into some kind of quasi-despotic Islamic country mixed with a tad bit of capitalist principles. So always remember that we should always be protecting our rights as people, no matter where you live in the world. And don't ever let any leader incrementally take those rights away from you. All right, folks, let's continue here. All right, let's go back to today's Ghost Report Daily. Germany, by the way, today is pressuring the EU to strip the country of Hungary of EU voting rights. Why? Because Hungary is the only country that is in opposition to anything against Russia. And obviously the EU thinks that Russia is its biggest national security threat. I mean, they're trying to pass a bill or an omnibus bill of over $1 trillion in spending in order to rearm itself. As a matter of fact, I've been making a lot of money off of European defense stocks. Just saying. And by the way, as I stated on the last show, because of Trump's tariffs and the galvanization that he has on America and the view of the world on America, excuse me, the reason he's making other countries great again. And I said that was going to happen. I said that once Trump comes in and asserts all these tariffs, and once he starts bringing and buying shit from our enemies, that he's going to make everybody else's country great again except ours. And that's exactly what's happening in the EU. $1 trillion in spending is going to be a shot in the arm to the economy of the EU. And of course, all that $1 trillion is going to be towards European countries. Not Americans, not foreign, just European countries. So anyway, with that being said, now you've got Germany trying to assert its dominance in the EU to remove Hungary's voting rights when it comes to EU politics. Let's see how that works. Let's see how that works. All right, let's see if they do it. I mean, because look, Orbán, that asshole from Hungary, is a Russian agent. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Now, going to France, did you hear about this? Marine Le Pen, the MAGA French champion. Remember, everybody wanted Le Pen to be president of France back in 2016, and, you know, a MAGA darling of France. Well, she has been found guilty of misappropriating EU funds and is now banned from politics. Now, I don't know. This story is a little weird. I do agree that she misappropriated EU funds. That's why she got found guilty. She used them for her own personal situation. And, I mean, that shit happens in the United States, too. That's why it's very scary when you're a politician and you're using campaign funds for other things other than the campaign. And there's been a lot of people that have been jailed because of that. I mean, look at that fucking asshole. What the hell's his name? That Indian guy. I forgot his name. They went to prison because Obama's DOJ, D'Souza. Obama's DOJ prosecuted D'Souza because he gave $35,000 to one of his friends that were running for a congressional seat or some shit. And because it didn't oblige the election laws, they sent them to jail. They spent like, what, 1.5 years in prison for giving some schmuck $35,000? Same shit here with Marine Le Pen. Now, being banned from politics, I don't know about that. All right? I don't know about that. That is obviously political. The Le Pens, going back to her father, have been a very polarizing political family. So, I mean, I guess part of this is her getting cut off at the past, but also, I mean, you should have a little bit in control of your funds, dude. I mean, you shouldn't have even accepted EU funds when you're an anti-EU candidate in France. I just don't understand. You're anti-EU, yet you accept EU money. Unfucking believable. Now, continuing on with European politics here, now we've got Ireland that we're going to talk about. And why? Because the MMA fighter Conor McGregor has political ambitions. He wants to be the president of Ireland. That's right, the Irish people, they want to be a part of the old presidential there. But unfortunately for Conor McGregor, he is met with overwhelming opposition when it comes to his political ambitions of being the Irish president. And the reason is because many of the folks that belong to the government body of Ireland are women. And I hate to break this to Conor McGregor, but he's got 2 rape cases that he's dealing with. One of them in Ireland that he's been fucking convicted for and he's got to pay out a lot of money to some bitch for. And also in America, where apparently he was at some NBA game, decided to take some chick with him into the bathroom, banged her in a shit stall, came out, she came out with him arm in arm, and now she is alleging that he raped her, and he has to deal with that. So he's got a lot of rape cases involved here, even though he's married, even though he has children, all right? He's trying to come out and pretend that he's this, Catholic, hardcore family man type of a candidate when we all know that's not the case. That's not the case. So I do like Conor McGregor as a fighter. I don't have anything negative to say about Conor McGregor. I'm not too sure about these rape charges. But as I always said, I mean, when you're up to no good things can happen. And when you're a married man and you just made, I don't know how many, a couple of $1 billion on selling that ridiculous Irish whiskey of his, you would think that he wouldn't be doing this type of shit. You would think that he wouldn't be banging skanks that will allow themselves to be penetrated in a men's fucking public bathroom. All right? But no. All right, he opened himself up to this. And now his political ambitions are going to be ruined because of these things. Unfucking believable. We'll see what happens there. All right, we'll see what happens. All right, folks, look, I'm going to go through a couple more subjects because there's a lot to talk about. I haven't been here since last Monday. Is there a coup d'etat in Israel? Have you heard about this? Take a look at this, all right? Netanyahu's party. The arrest of his closest aides, the prime minister's closest aides, in this Qatargate probe is a coup d'etat. Now, what does that mean? Qatar has been tied to a lot of bribery as of late. There's a massive Qatargate bribery situation going on in the EU. Now to hear this extend into the Israeli government is very interesting. Now, the reason that you're seeing this aggressiveness happen on Netanyahu is because Netanyahu is using his particular war with, Gaza, with Hezbollah, with whoever, as a means to sustaining his power. All right? As a means of sustaining his power. That's why before October 7th, the weekend before October 7th, there was over 1 million Israelis protesting against Netanyahu. And why were they protesting Netanyahu before October 7th? Because he was usurping the justice system in order to prevent the justice system in Israel to investigate him for corruption and his son for corruption. Now that all the October 7th and the post-Gaza invasion and all this warfare, now that it's starting to wear out its welcome with the Israeli people, now they're all raising up once again, and they want Netanyahu removed. And there are people within the Israeli government that believe that they have enough clout to do so, Hence the arrest of Netanyahu's top aides. So is Israel going to be in a civil war situation? And what does that mean for the Middle East? What does that mean for the United States and its relationship with Israel? Because lest we forget, I mean, Trump has given Netanyahu a blank check to do whatever the fuck he wants. And we're selling him weapons to do it. Unbelievable. And Stalin, USSR, getting drunk right now, type 333 to throw Jag into a wood chip. Right, great. Anyway, once again, is there a coup d'etat in Israel? Who knows? Well, Netanyahu isn't messing around either. He's defying courts in picking a new security chief, because remember, he fired his security chief a couple of weeks ago, which caused, once again, the inflaming of the senses of the Israeli people to want to protest against Netanyahu. Now he's picking a new security chief, so keep your eye on Israel. I'm making a prognostication right now. If this attempt at coup d'etat to bring down Benjamin Netanyahu, if it is not successful, expect Israel to expand the war, and maybe it will be the ones invading Iran with our air support. Remember, I had prognosticated this shit 2 years ago, right after the October 7th attack. It's on YouTube, the clip. I said that what we should do is take this auto-determination from Israel and the war aggression from Israel and guide it towards our interest, which would be towards Iran. And that's exactly what happened. That's exactly what happened. So, given the fact that we are moving military assets into the region, I'm talking the United States, and given Israel's current domestic state, I would not be surprised if we bomb Iran within the next week or two. We're that close. We are that close. And I think that we're going to do the bombing of Iran, and Israel will probably be the first ground troops to go in. I wouldn't be surprised if we have some of our ground troops aiding them that are in the Iraqi region. I told you, baby. I told you this was going to happen. I told you. And USSR, who's worse, Ghost or Bin Laden? I don't know what the hell that means. I told you all this was going to happen, baby. Prognosticator, a prognosticator, strikes again, baby. And on top of which, if it isn't Israel, or if it isn't Iran, okay, it could be Turkey. That's right. Damn Zionist Israel, are Israel and Turkey on a collision course? All right, so Israel right now, in my opinion, I think is going to expand its military operations. And the reason is because if Netanyahu is no longer the leader, he's going to be in jail. And Netanyahu doesn't want to go to jail because he's kind of, pretty corrupt. I mean, you can't usurp the fucking justice system in order for you not to be prosecuted for corruption. All right, so I believe that something is going to happen, that Israel is going to expand its military campaign, and it's either going to go into Iran, or we're going to aid, also the United States is going to aid Israel into going into Iran, or it's going to confront Turkey. Now, it's not going to confront Turkey on its soil. Where is it going to confront Turkey? In Syria. All right? And speaking of Syria, what the fuck are they doing? Remember, the leader of Syria was the leader of Al-Qaeda in Iraq. All right? I'm not joking around. He was a fucking bloodthirsty Al-Qaeda motherfucker. The guy who's the leader, the new leader. Look him up. And by the way, the name that he's saying his name as leader is not the name that he would use when he was a fucking bloodthirsty Al-Qaeda jihadist. Now, the reason I bring this up is because now that he's leader and he wants to create an Islamic state, he is now shutting down alcohol bars, that serve alcohol. Take a look at this. What happened when Syria's conservative new leaders tried to shut down 60 Damascus bars? Well, I mean, these bar owners can do whatever the hell they want. I mean, they're going to have to oblige this very, very aggressive new regime. And because they're Islamist, they certainly don't want alcohol. They don't want smoke. Even though the bar owner said that once the Assad was overthrown, that many of these jihadis were at the bar, fucking drinking it up with everybody else and celebrating. All right, so once again, Who knows what's going to happen in Syria, but I believe that Israel is going to be confronting Turkey in Syria. All right? So we got two choices for Israel, and I'm sure they're contemplating what to do. You either got bombing Iran or having the United States bomb Iran and having Israel forces and United States forces go into Iran, or you confront Turkey in Syria, because Turkey has been funding Syria. As a matter of fact, if it wasn't for Turkey, this regime that's in power right now would never be in power. So let's see what happens with Israel. Lots of things going on over there. So let's see what the hell happens. All right, man. Anyway, look, that concludes the True Capitalist Radio Show. All right. I've already been on here for 2 hours and 11 minutes. Let's go ahead and go to totally useless news, shall we? All right, put the PC shot on. Let's go to totally useless news. Now, this totally useless news from March 27th, 2025, and totally useless news is always going to be in this area here, this third row last block. All right? Now, take a look at some of these. New Jersey police chief accused of pooping by desks and spiking coffee with Viagra. Only in New Jersey. And this is a chief. A fucking chief. A New Jersey police chief is accused of defecating by desks, spiking others' coffee with Viagra, and other harassment. North Bergen Police Department Chief Robert Farley, who was sworn in as chief in February of 2024, is subject of a complaint by 5 officers who are planning to sue the township for Farley's alleged retaliation, discrimination, and sexual misconduct and harassment. So there you go. A police chief. I mean, standing while pooping. Unbelievable. Oh, I'm only in Jersey, huh? Only in Jersey. Anyway, let's go down to March 26, 2025. Did you hear about this here? Take a look at this. 3 teen girls stab mom to death for turning off the Wi-Fi. Oh, my God. Look at this shit. 3 siblings aged 14, 15, and 16 allegedly coordinated a plan and killed their mother. All right? Oh, well, obviously she didn't get killed. They tried to kill her. She was stabbed. Obviously the mother's still alive. But, yeah, that's where we're at this point, all right? We're so addicted to the fucking internet. These kids are so addicted to the internet, they'll stab your ass for trying to punish them with it. This is not the first time I've heard this shit either. I thought, didn't some chick shoot her mom for something like this recently? Unfucking believable. There you go. 3 teen girls try to stab their mama, turning off the motherfucking Wi-Fi, man, all right? Now, you know, since all you fucking Canadians out there like talking shit about Americans, look at this Canadian story here, all right? Canadian man filmed child changing to, quote, see if he was a pedophile. Only in Canada. Saskatoon man says he recorded a child changing to see if he was a pedophile. All right? 3 deleted videos were found on the man's phone after a 9-year-old child noticed a phone setup next to a plant in a room. That's the fucking defense of a Canadian man right there. Not even joking. Not even kidding. Oh, Canada. Anyway, Marshall Bernsey, Sasu Frasu's dad, by the way. Oh, Jesus Christ. Come on, man. Anyway, once again, totally useless news. If you don't like all the politics for Ghost Report, you got to go for the totally useless news, man. All right? You got to go. Take a look at this. Man uses penis doodle as official signature. All right? Take a look at this. A Australian, of course it's an Australian, drawing a penis as his signature. Okay, so when he signs documents, that's who is going to be known as. Jesus Christ. Only fucking Australia as well, dude. I'm telling you, fucking Australians, man. I'm glad that they have now very strict laws in Australia for trolling. I don't know if y'all know this. If you know a troll in Australia and you happen to know their information, You could literally forward it to the government and they'll fucking arrest these pricks. And I'm not joking. I'm not kidding. I'm just saying. I just crossed my mind here recently. Anyway, here's another one here. But hold on. Let's go down to March 25th. All right, let's go down to March 25th, 2005. Did you hear about this? Man arrested for spraying, quote, unknown liquid on women's butts. All right? Take a look at this guy. That looks like a winner there for you. Syringe-wielding Florida man, of course, Florida, the legitimate and literal colon of America, was arrested for spraying mystery liquid on girls' butts at a Ross discount store. Yeah, it was probably piss is right. It's disgusting. Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. But hey, ain't that America, the home of the free? Ain't that America? And speaking of pee, let's go to today's Ghost Report Daily. This is March 31st, 2025. Someone keeps putting gallons of urine in a man's recycle bin. All right? It's a lot of pee. Man has no idea who is putting gallons of urine in his recycle bin. Let's go ahead and listen to this. All right, let's go ahead and
this is the bin.
This is a story that begins with a blue recycling bin. But trust me, it doesn't end there.
It is tragically gross.
And that may be putting it lightly.
So you're kind of like, okay, this is disgusting.
Alex Van Dyne spent years working in television news throughout the country. But he never imagined standing in front of the camera talking about...
You kind of know what the urine smells like.
Yes, urine. That's what this story is about. But before you turn away, understand that this could be you, living in a Northeast Portland neighborhood, minding your own business when he shows up in the middle of the night.
Look at this guy. You got a hoodie.
In September, when
this
Van
guy,
Dyne and
hold
his
on,
wife
pause this. Hold on,
noticed their garbage bins.
You got a guy actually driving early in the morning, dressing up like the fucking Unabomber, only to throw his piss in your recycle bin? What the fuck, Portland?
Had not been collected.
So I went to open the blue bin, and lo and behold, there was a nice deposit of gallon-sized bottles of urine, to put it plainly. And there were 6 of them.
6 bottles of urine in his recycling
6
bin.
bottles of urine?
The garbage hauler wouldn't take it. It's biohazard.
So what does your wife think about all this?
Yeah, she's befuddled as well.
That's a lot of piss.
Van Dyne pulled his garbage bins, hoping that the urine dropper would go away. And he did. Straight to the neighbor's bin.
Oh,
and
dude,
then another neighbor.
He dropped it at the neighbor's bin.
You know, unravel. And I don't know why he's hitting the same location.
He's a real pissed off guy, obviously.
It doesn't make any sense to me. And or why he is doing it.
So who is this man driving a late model vehicle depositing bottles of urine? This grainy video shows him pulling up, getting out, and leaving the jugs behind.
I mean, the Unipisser.
Van Dyne has shared his ordeal
the
on the
fucking
social app
Unipisser.
called Nextdoor. He's been flooded with theories as to the reason behind it all.
Somebody was like, maybe it's a ring that they've kidnapped some people and they're trying to get rid of their fecal matter, in the most bizarre way possible.
He has filed a police report. He says he was told that if the urine had gone in the regular garbage bin, it wouldn't be a crime.
Whoa!
But because it's in the blue bin, it is.
I mean, only in Portland. Well, you know, sir, if this happened to have been in your garbage bag or your garbage can, it's not a crime, sir. But because he is using city recycle bins, that's a crime, buddy. All right, and we're going to pursue it. How dare he fuck with the recycle bins that the city produces for the people?
So now Van Dyne is on a mission to find out who this is. Getting his license plate will be crucial.
And I've actually, started putting my bins back out again the night before and putting him in a different position just to see if I could get a better video of him.
He doesn't plan to move, nothing like that. He loves the neighborhood, has lived here since 2006.
Loves the neighborhood.
But he does have a message.
Maybe he's watching. I don't know. Please stop. Please, just don't do it anymore.
Yeah, please stop. Please stop putting gallons of piss in my recycle bin, please. Stop it. Good God. All right. And if you don't think that... Hey, look, I'm going to continue with a couple of more stories from Totally Useless News. Did you hear that the Idaho governor has now signed into law banning truck nuts? I'm not kidding. Look at this shit. Idaho governor signs bill criminalizing public breast exposure, which this is geared towards truckers, obviously, right? You know, truckers that have those mud flaps of some silhouette of some bitch's tits, and I've seen many of them with fucking, like, literal nuts on, like, the back of the truck. Y'all seen that shit, right? Like a hanging nuts? Well, it's illegal if you go into Idaho now, all right? All right? If you're sporting truck nuts in Idaho, you can now be fucking jailed. All right, truckers? So if you happen to be out there and you're approaching Idaho fucking state limits, take off the truck nuts. Take off the truck nuts. And Trolling the Interweb said recycling laws exist only because they generate revenues from fines, or so the local government can harass homeowners they want to leave. That's a very good point. That's a very good point, Trolling the Interwebs. I'm glad you expressed it, because that's a very good way of thinking about it. All right, cheers to you. All right, let's continue, folks. We got a lot more here. Let's talk about what Kits Does a Flip wanted me to talk about earlier in the broadcast, and that's Kanye West showing up to an interview in a KKK-inspired outfit. Did you see this shit? All right, he actually was going to be interviewed by DJ Academics, and that was a hip-hop YouTuber. And Kanye West shows up in a KKK-inspired... Here, just play this shit.
Trying to figure it out. This is... wherever you want. You can sit right here. Yeah. What do you think?
Dude, what the hell is this guy's problem?
So, it's like magnetic. So one goes in here.
What the hell is fucking Kanye West's problem, dude?
I think it fell. Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, he's trying to mic him up in this fucking Klan outfit.
Took that Nazi chain.
Unbelievable, dude. Unbelievable. What is going on with Kanye West? I mean, you know, I think he's just lost his mind. I think he's legitimately lost his mind. They did have him committed. Remember when he started saying all that weird shit? And the Kardashians and all his handlers threw him in a fucking insane asylum or some shit. And he's never been right since. You know that? He's never been right since. Unreal, man. All right, two more, and then I'm going to get the hell out of here. Man's brother could be his son. Unbelievable. My brother could be my son. The disturbing truth behind my family secrets. Now, this man, Logan Gifford, was sexually abused by his mother for years. All right, for years. His mother got pregnant. Mother claims that, she got impregnated by some other man. But now they're going to go and take a test on whether or not they're actually brothers. Unfucking believable, dude. Like it says, Logan Clifford was just 10 years old when his mother, Doreen, first sexually abused him. He endured these horrific assaults for 6 years, and during that time, Doreen gave a birth to another son. Now 26, Logan is taking legal action to conduct a paternity test on his younger brother, whom he suspects could be his child. Unfucking believable. And what's going on to Metaform, who just became a member of the True Capitalist Radio member chat, dude. Cheers to you. And he paid for the year, dude, so cheers to Metaform. Anyway, once again, if you'd like to be a member of the True Capitalist Radio member chat, first of all, I would like for you to be a serious person. All right? Don't be one of these troll terrorist jerk-offs. All right? And go to buymeacoffee.com/GhostPolitics. All right? buymeacoffee.com/GhostPolitics. And go to the Become a Member area here, choose a tier, and come and chill with us tonight, all right? I'm going to be in the True Capitalist Radio member chat room in the next 20 or 30 minutes. So all the True Capitalist Radio members out there, let's kick back, man. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about some shit. All right? Anyway, once again, become a member of the True Capitalist Radio member chat. Cheers to everybody in there. Very active chat room when it comes to voice chatting. Very serious convo as well. One more totally useless news, and then I'm out of here. Did you see this beetle who uses a toxic fart as defense? Have you seen this? All right. Beetle uses toxic fart as a defense mechanism. Take a look at this. There's a video of it. All right, is X going to let me see it without logging in? I don't know. X is like that sometimes. I don't know what the fuck X's problem is. They want you to get an account. They want you to fucking log in. It's a fucking bunch of crap. All right, come on. Just let people see the video. Here, let me log in. I got it. All right, let's go ahead and take a look at this. I'm not joking. A beetle uses a poisonous fart in order to, as a defense. Here, take a look at this. Put the PC shot on. Here it is. Here's the beetle. And take a look at it. It literally uses farts to kill its enemy. Look at this. I'm not kidding. Look at this shit. Some acid comes out of this beetle's ass in order to kill its enemies. I'm not kidding. Unbelievable. All right, unbelievable. Ghost after 40 pounds of wings? Go fuck off. All right, anyway, that concludes the True Capitalist Radio broadcast, all right? Once again, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. I'm going to be having a ghost show tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, for all those that are wondering. I do the ghost shows, which is a lot different from True Capitalist Radio. It's a lot of internet tomfoolery. I'm going to be doing a ghost show tomorrow. And by the way, we're going to have Radio Graffiti within the first hour of the ghost show tomorrow. So just FYI, all right? And I'm going to try to do one more True Capitalist Radio show on Thursday if I have the energy and the time, okay? So once again, Monday and Thursdays, we're going to try to do True Capitalist Radio. Tuesday and Friday, the Ghost Show at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, okay? Now, if I don't show up on Thursday, come on, man, I do a lot of shows, dude, especially the Ghost Show, man. I do that show for like 8 or 9, 10 hours, all right? So anyway, I want to say thank you once again to everybody who is in the broadcast listening. If you'd like to support the show and chill with us, man, I mean, I am accessible by joining the True Capitalist Radio member chat. All right. And also, if you haven't done so, follow me on X or Twitter. Okay. The Ghost Report, all one word, no underscores, The Ghost Report. It is my social media of choice. It's a decent product. Even though I'm critical of Elon, it's a decent fucking product. All right. And of course, if you haven't done so, add to your bookmarks and add to your favorites my official website, which I have been quoting from throughout the show, ghost.report. All right. All right, I update it almost daily in order to provide you links to the world news in one web page. All right, everything that's pertinent. Now, once again, how do you read this? There's the headline, which is going to be the main subject. Then when you go down to this left block, the first block, this is going to be domestic political news, domestic financial news, domestic news in general. By the way, I forgot all about this. Did y'all hear about the Jeffrey Epstein sex trafficking victim? The chick that busted Prince Andrew and all that. She's going to die because she got hit by a bus. And the doctors are claiming that she's got such bad kidney damage that she could be dead within 4 or 5 days. So I completely forgot about that. Isn't it ironic? Isn't it ironic? I mean, because she was going to testify about not just Epstein and Prince Andrew, but she was going to testify Trump and his correlation to all this. Things that make you go, All right, folks. Anyway, I'm going to get the hell out of here. Thank you very much for tuning in with me. All right, I'm going to be in the True Capitalist Radio member chat in the next 20 minutes. So come kick back with us. I'm going to drink some beers. We're going to talk some serious issues, and we're going to discuss things. I love that chat, man. We have some great chats, all right? Great ones, man. Anyway, follow me on X or Twitter, The Ghost Report, and add to your bookmarks and add to your favorites, ghost.report. All right? Anyway, until next time, I'm out of here. Hold on, did I skip donation? No, it was just metaphor. And Gino, oh yeah, cheers to all you guys, man. All right, I'm out of here. All right, I'm going to be in the fucking True Capitalist Radio member chat in the next 20 to 25 minutes. I'll see you all there. Until next time, I'm out of here.